Marvel. Grabbed a drawer of infinity stones at the beginning. Chapter 21. Tick, tick. The blue ice blade flashed with bursts of cold light, breathing in the slightest bit of cold air. The tip of the knife is still dripping with bright red blood, and even if it is covered with ice, the blood still has not solidified. The time is too short and the cold knife is too fast. The hedgehog man lay in a pool of blood and held his neck tightly, trying to suppress the burst of blood. However, the main artery was broken and it was difficult for the gods to save him. When Chen Shi was watching the movie, he was disgusted to death by this soy sauce garbage. Now this idiot has jumped out again. Isn't he going to the manhole with a lantern and looking for death? He looked at the frightened hedgehog man with disdain, as if he was trampling an ant to death. Ding! The host kills the hedgehog and gets 500 bioenergy. Chen Shi smiled slightly. Okay, the disgusting flies are gone. It's really annoying to be buzzing all the time. By the way, do we want to continue? Colossus, Iceman. At this moment, although Chen Shi looked at the two of them with a happy face, which made them shudder violently, this smile looked like a devil's smile to them. Kill someone just because they disagree. No, not even a word was said. Could they be able to deal with such a person? Both of them were frightened by Chen Zai's ferocity. They are just babies in the greenhouse. They have never killed anyone at all. They only occasionally send super criminals to the police station. They are too weak. We, the two stammered, not knowing what to say. Haha, go back and tell Charles that I am a very principled and reasonable person. I will not offend others unless they offend me. I am a good person, a very good person. As soon as these words came out, Natasha and the Red Devil almost believed it. A person who kills people without batting an eye will be a good person. Then you can award a peace prize even if you turn on the lamp. Just when Colossus and Colossus were at a loss, Charles's voice sounded again. Okay, come back, he is beyond your control. Hearing this, the two Colossians were relieved. It's so scary here, our little hearts can't stand it. After hearing the instruction, Colossus bowed to Chen Shi and left in a hurry with Iceman. When the X-Men left, Chen Shi looked at the Red Devil again and said with a half smile. What about you? I killed two of you. Do you want to seek revenge from me? No, I want to thank you, sir. I've long been unhappy with the Fire Watcher and this hedgehog man. The Red Devil waved his hands repeatedly. Since there's nothing wrong, let's go. I won't entertain you anymore. Chen Shi sent them away immediately. He had more important things to do now and had no time to blabber. Okay, then we won't disturb you, sir. The Brotherhood will always welcome your presence. The Red Devil bowed very gentlemanly and left with the Toad Man. Sudden, wait a minute, take care of all the guys behind. These mercenaries know too much. Chen Shi stopped them and pointed to the mercenaries in the distance. Understood, sir. The Red Devil agreed, and then saw a burst of red mist drifting by, followed by screams. The teleporting Red Devil has become a nightmare for this group of mercenaries, and the unpredictable knives can harvest fragile lives to their heart's content. You are so cruel. At some point, Natasha twisted her delicate body and walked to Chen Zai's side. Are you ruthless? If I were not ruthless, or just an ordinary person, I would be played around with like an ant. Chen Shi looked deeply into the distance, his eyes extremely firm. Natasha didn't know what happened to this man, but it seemed to touch her slightly. He no longer wants to be like an ant, being manipulated at will, so helpless to resist, waiting for others' judgment. He can only judge others, no one can judge him. Even the 5 supreme creation gods. The court of life. What happened to him? Natasha suddenly felt palpitations in her heart, and boundless murderous aura surged from the man beside her. Even if it was not directed at her, she felt that terror was coming. You. Natasha looked at Chen Shi nervously. Me. It's okay, but you are in trouble. The next second, Chen Shi returned to normal. Like a big boy next door, the terrifying figure just now is not him. The murderous aura was gone, and Natasha breathed a sigh of relief. Hearing Chen Shi say that he had something to do, he said in a disgusting voice. What's wrong with me? Are you going to eat me? After finishing speaking, he pointed at Chen Zai's heart with a delicate jade finger provocatively. The teasing meaning couldn't be more obvious. Chen Shi grabbed her little hand and played with it slowly. You are my prisoner now. Do you think you are in big trouble? You, let me go, you fool. Natasha was furious because her little hands were being played with randomly. Why didn't this person follow the routine? She was at a disadvantage. No one has ever dared to take advantage of her like this. Anyone who dares to do this will be exterminated or killed directly. Let go. How is it possible? It's so soft and delicious. Chen Shishan continued to play with her shamelessly, and even pulled her into his arms and kneaded her. How could Natasha, the famous Black Widow, be so angry? The next step was to cut off his legs and hit Chen Zai's clone, but Chen Shi reacted very quickly. I'll pinch you. In this way, Natasha's short legs were firmly fixed. She was so angry that her face turned red and she bit Chen Zai's arm. Hiss. Hey, you are a dog. Where could Chen Shi, who was enjoying himself, expect to be hit directly? Let it go. Let it go. Otherwise, don't blame me for being rude. His words were of no use. Natasha refused to let go and bit her teeth hard. In this case, how could Chen Shi be polite? He grabbed the huge cotton ball with his clawed hands. Hiss. Now it was Natasha's turn to take a breath of cold air. Isn't this guy so shameless? Whoosh. Her face was so embarrassed that water dripped from her face. Chen Shi was also surprised. What kind of scene has a veteran like Natasha never experienced before? She still blushes and is shy. Shibao, why don't you let go and pinch me? Natasha said charmingly. How can this dead man be so shameless? How can he be manipulated casually? Oh, sorry. Chen Zai's old face turned red, and his forehead was covered with hair. Ah, go to hell. Natasha screamed again. She was really unlucky today. Sorry, my hands are slippery, my hands are slippery. Chen Shi really didn't mean it, he was really slippery. Go away. Believe it or not, Natasha clamped her legs together and pinched him again out of anger. Ahem, Sister Scarlet, Black Braised Egg sent you to trick me, right? He is really worried in vain. I'm not Scarlet, my name is Natasha. Natasha was so angry that it hurt. What, Scarlet is the eldest sister? I'm only 24 years old this year, okay. She's so pretty. But who is Black Braised Egg? Our director. Bingo, isn't he just a black braised egg? Poof. Ha ha ha. Natasha burst out laughing, it really seemed like it. Ding, the hidden mission is open. Please complete the distance mission with the plot character Black Widow. After completing the mission, the host will be rewarded with 1 million points. Karma. Natasha was still smiling heartlessly, but Chen Shi almost choked to death. What kind of trouble is the system going to have? Is it crazy? What kind of evil has he done? Natasha is a bit scary to him. She has a lot of experience. Ahem, system. What do you mean? Is there a time limit for the task? Host, please complete it within a month, otherwise the system will judge the mission as failed. To go up or not to go up? This is a question. Should I endure the punishment of this beauty indifferently, or should I give up this small amount of money that is easily available? This task is too difficult, so let's wait for now. We'll talk about it later. We'll talk about it later. While Chen Shi was thinking to himself, he secretly looked at Natasha with his peripheral vision. This eldest sister is quite big. What are you looking at? Have you never seen a beautiful woman? If you look again, your eyeballs will pop out. Natasha glared at him fiercely. TCH, I'm afraid of you. Chen Shi would not be spoiled, so he immediately shouted back and stared at Dachocho with fierce eyes. You. Natasha was so angry that she was bouncing up and down, making Chen Shi worry about the quality of the clothes and whether they would burst. Stop. Don't worry. I believe He Lu Dan can hear our speech now. Can you tell us your purpose? Seeing that the tigress was getting angry again, Chen Shi quickly diverted his attention. He was having a hard time. Natasha asked him about his origins and purpose. We can cooperate. We can do what Tony can do. Winning over has always been their common method. Iron Man, Thor, Green Man, Spider-Man, Wanda, and Quicksilver were all won over, weren't they? It's not that there is no betrayal, it's just that the chips for betrayal are different. They are good at giving any medicine to any person. As for giving him a nickname, Mama Fake said, I am a turtle, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle. Our director Hey, Nick Fury asked me to ask you about your origin and purpose. Can we cooperate? Natasha blurted out and almost shouted, Black Braised Eggs. Fortunately, she was too professional and stopped herself. For your sake, it's not impossible. Chen Shi touched his chin, seemingly thinking about it. Really? Then tell me quickly. Natasha was overjoyed. She was still more charming, this girl was still the same girl. Well, I also want to cooperate with you. After all, I'm new to Earth and I'm really weak. Chen Shi said casually. What? New to the Earth? You said you were an alien. It was a pain to see Nick Fury on the opposite side. Fuck, why do aliens like the Earth? The Skrulls are like this, and so are the Kree. Then which planet are you from right now? It's really a headache. Black Braised Egg scratched his bald head. He used to be a handsome fool, and he was once the tall, rich and handsome guy in the hearts of black girls. After joining this secret service with a long name, everything has changed. I was so worried that my hair was all gone. My hair was like that time, gone forever. Nick Fury, who was very upset, quickly asked Natasha to continue. Our director Nick Fury asked me to ask you which planet you are from and why you came to Earth. Natasha rolled her eyes and asked helplessly. This Nick Fury is really confused. Where are the aliens? Could this bad guy in front of him be an alien? Can aliens have the same aesthetics as Earthlings? She can remember all the bad things this guy did to her. What kind of alien would do this? She's all wet now. It's so painful for an older single woman. This bad guy is so good at playing. Chen Shi didn't know Natasha's slander. He thought about it and said very seriously. My alien name is Ultramantiga, and I come from a distant alien galaxy group, the M788 Nebula, which is an extremely developed super galaxy group. Our technology is about 1 million years ahead of the Earth's. The Kree and Skrulls are really weak compared to us. Our king sent me here to save the Earth and maintain love and justice in the universe. In a few years, aliens will invade the Earth. They are just the vanguard of the purple sweet potato spirit, the overlord of the universe. The real crisis is when the overlord of the universe comes in person, so the purpose of my coming here is to save the Earth. Chen Shi was eloquent and talked seriously for a long time. He had never felt that he was so serious. Of course, Natasha didn't believe even a single punctuation mark of what he said. Everything about Ultramantiga, M788 Nebula, and the overlord of the universe were all nonsense. She immediately glanced at Chen Shi with contempt. Bragging ratio. Snap. As soon as Natasha finished sucking, she felt her butt being slapped hard. Why did you hit me? I'll fight you. Gritting her teeth, Natasha rushed towards Chen Shi angrily. Stop. Then Chen Shi held down his little head and suppressed him directly. This guy has short legs, so no matter how you show your teeth or claws, you can't hit him. In the face of absolute power, fighting ability is vulnerable. The two of them were messing around here, but Nick Fury on the other side was so scared that he was sweating profusely and his face was cloudy. Sitting on the boss's chair, Natasha began to think wildly. Natasha didn't believe what Chen Shi said, but he did believe it. The Skrulls and the Kree all know the existence of these cosmic empires, and the Earth is really like an ant in front of these powerful cosmic empires. Hearing about alien invasion and the arrival of the overlord of the universe, he was not sure whether Chen Shi was lying to him, but he had to be cautious. There is an old saying in the Dragon Kingdom, don't be afraid of 10,000, just be afraid of the unexpected. He must make all preparations and cannot sit still and wait for death. Natasha, your mission has been completed. The next mission is to continue to have a good relationship with Chen Shi. Black Braised Egg Nick Fury doesn't want to waste time, he has to be prepared with multiple hands. Okay, Director Nick, Natasha said helplessly. Actually she really believed it. She began to admire Nick Fury, this guy is really an out-and-out talent. Chen Zai's guess was correct, he knew this would be the result. Let Nick Fury mess around. A born patient with terminal persecution paranoia, he cannot trust anyone 100%. Even if it's Captain America Steve. Even if it's himself, he won't trust him 100%. Nick Fury is on guard against himself. He is afraid that he will be hypnotized by mutants, so he has set special passwords for many of his plans. As for Natasha's arrangement, he also considered it because of multiple friends and multiple paths. Chen Shi said that he would save the Earth. He would give it a try whether he believed it or not. No matter what Chen Shi said before or what he told the truth later, Nick Fury was completely fooled. He believed the nonsense he was talking about Ultraman, but he only half believed the arrival of the purple sweet potato spirit. It's not good to be too sophisticated, because he thinks too much. Now the whole world is quiet, there are only the two of them and those who can't speak. Chen Shi took out his lighter and lit it with a click. What do you want to do? Barbecue. Natasha was stunned. Use a lighter to burn his hair. Well, you can burn all his hair. Why didn't I think of that? Chen Shi ignored the silly woman and controlled the small flame, causing it to instantly turn into a giant flame dragon and roar out. Oh my god, you still have fire mutant abilities. Natasha covered her mouth in surprise, her eyes filled with envy, jealousy and hatred. God, you are so blind. Why are you so partial to him? Why is it so unfair? When she thinks that she is just an ordinary person, she becomes mentally unbalanced. As Natasha screamed, the flame dragon devoured the silent people one after another, leaving behind traces of charred blackness. After finishing everything, Chen Shi glanced at Natasha proudly. Didn't I say that I can do anything? TCH, pretend to be guilty. Although she said this, the shock in her beautiful eyes could not hide the envy. She was just an ordinary person. But she is exposed to confidential cases every day. There are too many superpowers in this world, but she is not one. She is now increasingly worried, is she going to be eliminated? After this battle, she feels too small. She will face crimes involving superpowers in the future, where should she go? Haha, Natasha, look at me. Chen Shi quietly signaled, and the latter understood instantly when he heard the words. The keenness of an agent cannot be overshadowed. She immediately took out her earphones and turned them off. Chen Shi had a secret to tell her. After Natasha took off her headphones, Chen Shi spoke quietly. I can help you become a super Black Widow. Even 10 American teams are no match for you. The poor rely on mutation, and the rich rely on technology. Chen Shi knew that there were many good things in this world, such as Wakanda's heart-shaped herbal medicine, but he didn't believe it. It could only be used by Black Panther, which was a fart. Can he go and negotiate amicably? Why not? He believes that they will agree to friendly negotiations, and he has liked friendly negotiations since he was a child. In addition to Wakanda, there are many other ways to implant mutant abilities. He also has arc reactor technology. When the time comes, he can find the villain Ivan Vanko, and he can also have friendly negotiations with classmate Tony Stark. Nano armor would be good. In the Marvel world, anything is possible. What, really? Natasha's eyes shone brightly, and her delicate body trembled slightly. Becoming stronger is an eternal truth. Of course I will do what I say. But there is no free lunch in this world. I need you to be loyal to me and lurk in S.H.I.E.L.D. Chen Shi said lightly, looking directly into Natasha's beautiful eyes. Natasha didn't dare to look at him. This fact was too important and she had to think about it carefully. Natasha, whose eyes were evasive, didn't know how to answer for a moment. Promise or give up, she was in a dilemma. Chen Shi also saw her concerns, but he was not in a hurry, he just did it casually, it didn't matter whether he succeeded or not. However, he is still confident. Although Natasha joined S.H.I.E.L.D. for unknown reasons, it is nothing more than what Nick Fury promised Natasha. Since Nick Fury can make Natasha betray the Red Room organization, then the chips he offers are enough. I'm leaving. You can think about it slowly. Anyway, I have plenty of time. This is my business card. When getting into the car, Chen Shi threw a business card to her and drove away. Natasha, who stayed where she was, looked at the business card in her hand and fell into deep thought. She was originally sentenced to escape the Red Room and join S.H.I.E.L.D. because Nick Fury promised to inject her with the infinite formula. No one can resist the temptation of life, and she is no exception. What is in front of her now? It's a superpower, a stronger self. Getting stronger is the instinct of biological evolution. You only get one chance. Natasha clenched her fists and murmured in a low voice. She has made her decision. A gust of breeze blew across her legs, and she suddenly shivered. Suddenly she thought of something, and she was so angry that she wanted to die. Chen Shi, this shameless fool. Not only did he not put out the fire, he also started it. Cursing secretly, she quickly got in the car. Seeing no one around, she quietly pulled off her pants and stuffed them into her bag. It was completely unwearable because it was so wet. It was all because of this fool who kept teasing himself. Ah, Chen Shi sneezed hard while driving on the road. Who misses me so much? What a cutie. Rambo was like a bolt of blue lightning, traveling at high speed, causing curses all the way. Fake. The luxury car is amazing. You really don't regard poor people as human beings. Fake squid. Squeak. Outside the small villa rented by Wanda, Chen Shi stopped directly. I opened the door and saw that Wanda was still fast asleep. It was already evening. I admire her. He opened another room, locked the door, and got down to business. System, help me integrate. Chen Shi has already been gearing up and can't wait. Host, please wait a moment. Ding, extract Colossus, tempering ability and start fusion. Please wait a moment, host. Ding, fusion successful. When Chen Shi heard the sound, he stretched out his finger and immediately tried it. Sure enough, his finger immediately transformed into the finger of Kato Eagle, which can drive women crazy. Go on. Ding, extract Iceman's freezing ability and start fusion. Please wait a moment, host. Ding, it has been detected that the host has ice abilities, and the two abilities have begun to merge. Please wait a moment, host. Ding, fusion successful. As Chen Shi thought, an ultra-low temperature cyclone slowly rotated in the palm of his hand. He knew it was minus 150 degrees. Even Colossus, who has a body of steel, and Wolverine, who has super self-healing power, cannot withstand such ultra-low temperatures and will die instantly. Omega level ability is here. His most powerful ability so far. When he has powerful attack power, the sense of security he brings is unparalleled. In the movie, Iceman really wastes such a powerful talent. System, continue. Ding, extract the Red Devil's teleportation ability and start fusion. Please wait a moment, host. Ding, fusion successful. Good, very good. He finally has his own life-saving auxiliary ability. If you can't beat him, he will run much faster. Not many people can stop him from teleportation, which is a magical skill for running away. Chen Shi didn't understand why the Red Devil first surrendered to Sebastian Shaw and later got involved with Magneto. He is a mutant who has lived for thousands of years. This is a bit unreasonable, right? His teleportation ability is quite disgusting. Teleport the enemy to a high altitude, snap. Fall to death. Make a sealed adamantium alloy cage, teleport people in, and then suffocate to death. If it doesn't work, take the people and throw them into the middle of the ocean. They will die of exhaustion and thirst even if they don't drown. In the confrontation with the Red Devil just now, he was always ready to fuse his teleportation ability to prevent him from making dirty tricks, but he didn't. No matter what, he has finally gained a foothold. Now that the Time Variation Management Bureau has appeared, they can also make it impossible for them to come back. System, open the Properties panel. Ding, the Property panel has been opened, please check it, host. Host, Chen Shi. Age, 22. Level, Earth level peak. Physique, Frost Giant physique. Ability, Water Control level A, 10 km range. Ice type S level, minus 150 degrees Celsius. Fire Control level C, 500 degrees. Carbon temperature transformation, second to original Edmon and Vibranium. Teleportation level A, Earth range. Items, Time Stone, Space Stone, Reality Stone, Power Stone, Mind Stone, Soul Stone. N pieces. Points, 6.7 million points. Bioenergy, 1350 points. The addition of many abilities finally made his face look much better, no longer like 3 or 2 big cats and kittens. Hee, not bad, not bad. Chen Shi touched his chin and nodded with great satisfaction. Well, let's go out and try. After getting these new abilities, Chen Shi can't wait to try his new abilities. No matter what, let's go and have a good time. Go to the Great Western Desert. Western cowboy movies were quite popular back then. Chen Shi soon decided that the desert and the Gobi should be left to his own devices. Whoosh! The same burst of red smoke drifted past, and Chen Shi disappeared into the air. Huh, is this using a different space as a transfer station to perform space folding and jumping? The moment he used teleportation, Chen Shi found himself in a different space, and the space folded in front of his eyes. He looked like he was on a map. He took one step and appeared directly on a certain point on the map. Bang! He has arrived directly in the vast desert Gobi. At this moment, he came just in time. The lonely smoke is straight in the desert, and the sun is setting in the long river. Chen Shi couldn't help but recite this famous line through the ages. The majestic and majestic sunset before his eyes lit up the entire desert and lit up the clouds on the horizon. This was the first time he had seen such a spectacle. The sun, which had been running around all day, was now red and big, and it didn't seem as dazzling as it was during the day. The originally desolate desert was also covered with a layer of soft colors. The sand is no longer shining with blinding whiteness. At this time, the clouds in the sky were like an orange-yellow dress, floating unsteadily. As the color of the dress became thicker, the already orange-red sun gradually approached the horizon. The moment the sun touched the horizon, the world seemed to suddenly change. The layers of clouds in the western sky seemed to have been dyed with rouge, and they were fluffy. Floating leisurely and contentedly in the crystal-clear blue sky, it seems as if layers of orange-red patterns have been embroidered on the smooth blue satin. Beautiful, so beautiful. It was so beautiful that Chen Shi couldn't help the overwhelming pride in his heart. At this moment, he couldn't express his displeasure, and he immediately roared loudly at the world without any scruples. Such wanton howling made Chen Shi pour out all the uneasiness, depression, and excitement he had felt in the past few days with this roar. Ah, 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 boom, boom, boom. Chen Shi was shocked. Did he master the ability to fight bulls from a distance? This response is truly fitting. Of course, Chen Shi didn't practice any diamond lion roar at all. This is a rocket. Shocked, he suddenly looked up and saw 7 or 8 armed helicopters flying in the distance. These explosions were all caused by them. At this moment, the heavy machine guns on the plane kept firing, and the carried rocket launchers on their shoulders and kept firing. Watching the sound again, a fat green man was twisting left and right while being bombarded indiscriminately, performing advanced snake skin moves. I jump left, I jump right, I jump backwards. I bungee jump. Alas, move, move, can't hit. Alas, are you angry? This is a nimble fat guy, but it just can't be hit. Worry, isn't this the plot of The Incredible Hulk? The highlights of Hulk masturbating in the desert are really interesting. Chen Shi just scanned it and he understood. It doesn't matter whether you are a tank or an airplane. In front of the green fat man, he was as fragile as paper. Suddenly, the green fat man stopped, and a bear jumped directly on top of a tank. He grabbed the barrel of the tank and started spinning the magic of love in circles. Whoosh! The tank was thrown high into the sky like a lead ball. Boom! Hulk Newbie hit it accurately. This plane was shot and took off. The tragic tanks and helicopters died together immediately, and the huge explosion fireworks were so beautiful. This desert sunset adds a lot of Syrian style. When the other troops saw this, they went crazy and fired bullets at the fat green man like a rain of free money. Choo choo choo. Boom, boom, boom. However, these bullets hit the fat green man like hitting a huge thick steel plate, and were useless. At this moment, several rockets whizzed past with long tails, and their target was the fat green man who was showing off his wantonness. Soon enough, the flexible green fat man swung sideways coquettishly, and the rocket just missed his back and flew into the distance. The fat green man then made a backhand, grabbed the next rocket and threw it back. Boom! A loud bang. The green fat man succeeded in masturbating again, but the helicopter emitting black smoke crashed. Fark, fark, they are all a bunch of rubbish. Trash. Can't catch the Hulk for so long. Trash. General Ross, who was hiding in a helicopter behind, was yelling curses without any concern for human life. He is now hard-hearted and dead. He doesn't care at all. He just wants to capture the Hulk and create super soldiers. Without exception, this arrest operation is about to fail. Oh, bad luck. If I don't catch him again, I will be fired. After Ross finished venting, he sat down with a sad face. Dear mother, it may affect your career. Wait, General, look, someone is fighting the Hulk. Suddenly, the adjutant beside Ross shouted excitedly, not forgetting to remind Ross. Whoosh! Ross jumped up. Ha ha ha. Okay, okay, don't rush. Take a look first. He is looking to see if he can reap the benefits. Strange to say, Chen Shi watched the play leisurely. This was a live performance, which was rare to see. Who would have thought that maybe God was too pleased with Chen Shi and that the old man was unhappy? A fat green man fell from the sky and hit him straight. If you sit on the sand, a fat man will fall from the sky. Chen Shi ran away quickly, he didn't want to take the blame. Roar! The green fat man who landed on the ground rushed over as soon as he saw Chen Shi. At this time, Hulk's IQ was not at all online. When he saw people, he was like seeing his captor. He patted his chest, howled, and started to attack Chen Shi without hesitation. Worry! This big guy doesn't deserve to be blamed. Chen Zai's eyes lit up when he saw the fat green man rushing towards him. This is a qualified punching bag. It shouldn't be too resistant to being beaten, is that okay? The figure of the green fat man is getting bigger and bigger, and his casserole-sized fist is getting closer and closer in Chen Zai's pupils. At this critical moment, Chen Shi responded calmly, slid sideways to avoid his fist, and then directly hugged the green fat man's huge arm in the next second. Wake me up. Time. Chen Zai's clothes were shattered inch by inch, and what followed was a silver figure of steel. The transformed Chen Zai's power increased sharply again, from more than 30 tons to nearly 100 tons. Of course, this amount of power is still far behind a big guy like Green Fatty who weighs 800 tons. But the power of these hundreds of tons is enough. Taking advantage of the green fat man's unsteady footing and loose lower body, Chen Shi hugged the green fat man's arms, bent his right leg at the knee, and used his short steel body to kneel into the popliteal fossa behind the knee of the green fat man. The popliteal fossa is very complex and contains very important structures, including the popliteal artery, popliteal vein and tibial nerve. Any structural damage will cause serious consequences. Therefore, injuries to the popliteal fossa are most likely to cause thrombosis in the lower limbs. The popliteal fossa is a very weak and important location. He used to fight in every possible way, otherwise he would have been beaten to death long ago. If you are weak, you have to find a way. Bang! The green fat man who couldn't avoid it was hit hard by the steel knee, and he knelt down on one knee, hugging his leg and howling in pain. Roar! It hurts. It hurts my heart. Even the power of Gatling, the god of fire, and rockets couldn't break his skin, just like scratching an itch. But now he simply can't bear the severe pain, which shows how much pain this brings. Before he could play, Chen Shi took advantage of his distraction and threw him over his shoulder, throwing him far away, splashing yellow sand all over the sky. This time, Chen Shi did not continue to act, but looked at the fat green man quietly. He had no grudge against him. Ding! The plot character Hulk has been detected. Do you want to extract it? Since the Hulk has multiple abilities, one extraction requires 1 million points. Sure enough, the system came to life the moment they came into contact. Extract it. This time was different from before. This time there were several options jumping back and forth in front of his eyes. Hulk strength, Hulk defense, Hulk self-healing, Hulk speed, Hulk endurance, immunity to disease toxins. Good guy, every one of his abilities can make him a top-notch superpower. No wonder they have to be used individually. In Chen Zai's expectation, the slot machine started to spin, bew, bew, bew. The small icon was very cheerful, getting faster and faster, and finally came to a sudden stop, boom. Chen Shi took a closer look, and the cursor stopped at Hulk's self-healing. Ding! Congratulations to the host for drawing Hulk to self-heal this round. The next round of drawing can be done after contacting Hulk in 1 month. Ding! After completing the extraction of Hulk's self-healing, does the host want to fuse? Wait a minute, don't rush. Chen Shi thought for a while, the fusion would take 10 minutes, so there was no rush. At this time, the green fat man had already used his self-healing ability to recover the thigh that had almost suffocated with blood. A child of only a few years old was so smart that the fat green man spat hard without any qualifications, and stared at Chen Shi with his slightly red eyes. He was already angry. After debuting for so long, this was the first time he felt such severe pain. Who could bear the hundreds of tons of force? Roar! The green fat man roared violently and started to accelerate. Boom, boom, boom. Heavy steps stepped on the desert, bringing up yellow sand all over the sky, and at the same time, the earth began to vibrate. At this time, it can be seen that his anger level has been fully accumulated, and these guys just stared at him, making him angry to death. Let me go. A fat green guy as a team, this way of showing up is a blast. Chen Shi screamed strangely and immediately teleported away. Ho, 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 the person who was in front of me just now is gone. Am I Hulk dazzled? Have I been tricked? The green fat man who was stunned on the spot howled angrily. Suddenly, I felt palpitations. The fat green man secretly thought something was wrong. Unfortunately, it was too late. Chen Shi flashed behind the green fat man and made a super dunk. Boom! Behind him, he gathered strength above his head, and a pair of invincible iron fists hit the fat green man's head hard, hitting him so hard that stars appeared in his eyes. He stumbled, unable to stabilize, and was thrown to the ground. Ba ba ba! The green fat man spit out a few mouthfuls of yellow sand, shook his head and stood up again. Hulk's powerful self-healing power is so willful. Roar! He is even more angry. His eyes turned blood red, and his anger level exploded. Chen Shi estimated that the current strength of this thing must have exceeded 1,500 tons, right? Could it be that whitewashing is 9 times weaker? Darkening is 10 times stronger. This brainless Hulk is the fattest, no, the strongest. He used the angry left hook and right hook, the 8 powerful Pegasus flying star punches, and even the front kick, side kick, sweeping kick, and function kick. The key point was that he was in a state of confusion. A set of martial arts fists did not even touch Chen Zai's hair, but almost suffocated Chen Shi to death. Because the air in front of him was emptied by the green fat man, it felt a bit like an old man. But Chen Shi is not a vegetarian. After being attacked by him for so long, it's time for him to perform. At this time, when the green fat man came up and hit Chen Zai's head with his right straight fist, Chen Shi released his left hand outwards, and at the same time, his right hand went down and hugged Hulk's forearm again. Then Chen Zai's body quickly turned back to face the fat green man. At the same time, he stamped his left foot to stabilize his lower body, and then slammed his right foot backwards to cut off the fat man's legs. The next second, the whole desert is boiling. Ouch! The clouds in the sky were scattered. The fat green man covered his head and howled in pain, rolling on the ground. It really makes the listeners sad and the listeners shed tears. The soldiers who were watching from a distance suddenly felt the same thing. They were so scared that they immediately covered their legs and became Wudang clan. The helicopter became shaky as a result, and everyone sympathized with the green fat man. This was so painful. I don't know if there are any broken eggs all over the place. No matter how strong his defense is, it can't be justified. After all, it is the most vulnerable place. The vibration of this power cannot be defended against. Even if his artifact pants can block bombs and missiles, they cannot stop this. Sure enough, the fat green man slowly disappeared and was replaced by Banner. This time, as soon as Banner woke up, he felt a sharp pain, and it was his turn to start rolling. Oh, fuck, 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 Banner kept yelling, trying to ease the pain. Seeing this, Chen Shi could only mutter silently, "If you have hair on your forehead, it's a sin, you're impolite." General Ross was the only one at the scene whose attention was not on Banner but on Chen Shi with fiery eyes. What a good experimental subject. What a good gene. Capture him and study him. Even if he is not as good as Hulk, he is still the best. He now has one more target, Chen Shi. Chen Shi naturally felt the strange gaze from 1,000 meters away. It turns out to be Ross. But you actually dare to hit me. If some people are anxious to reincarnate, I don't mind giving them a ride. Chen Shi didn't take General Ross seriously at all. He seemed to be a bit of a scumbag, right? An ordinary person was not worthy of his careful treatment. After grabbing the howling Wu-Tang Clan disciple Banner, Chen Shi teleported away directly. No matter what, he could not take advantage of Ross. The Hulk is a powerful weapon and must be used properly. However, before Chen Shi left, he smiled strangely at Ross. In Ross's view, this is provocation and ridicule. HMPH, just wait. Not to be outdone, Ross snorted coldly, looked at the soldiers and said angrily, "Close the team." An action started in a hurry and ended in failure. At Tony's villa, Chen Shi suddenly appeared out of thin air and threw the shocked Banner into the swimming pool. Plop! The strong stimulation and freezing finally relieved Banner's pain and brought him back to his senses. Oh, fuck. He struggled to stand up and cursed before looking in all directions. Hey, who are you? Why are you leaving me here? Even if he was in a bad situation, he didn't give up. Recently, he has become more and more courageous. As long as there is danger, Hulk will immediately appear to save him. He can't even commit suicide. It doesn't matter who I am your savior now, please be honest with me. Chen Shi said as he changed his clothes. He had to get nanoscale vibranium at some point. Ordinary clothes were easy to break. When Banner heard this, did he turn out to be his savior? He had long discovered that the military was arresting him, and the man in front of him had indeed escaped with him, yes. That's right, he is my savior. The confused Banner was tricked by Chen Shi again, but he didn't know that the culprit was the savior in front of him. Chen Shi was really a thief and shameless. He beat people up and even tricked them into being grateful. Banner made a zipper motion with his hand to indicate that he had shut up. This guy. American humor. Wow, Chen Shi didn't see it. Are Asians also so strong? When they stand up, they are more than 20 centimeters tall, right? Who knows, Tony actually showed up with Pepper at this time, probably informed by Jarvis. Peppo, turn around quickly. The venomous Tony's face immediately turned bad. He's pretending to do it again. Even Pepper couldn't help but be attracted. What a failure. Ahem, don't feel inferior, Tony. It's innate. I don't blame you for genetic problems. Get out. Do I have low self-esteem? Fark. Tony broke his guard, got excited, and was completely injured. Ha ha ha, don't be excited. Don't be excited. I'm not talking about you. Why are you excited? You, Tony, who was beaten down, is very unhappy now. Is he the king of loudmouths going to be defeated today? Seeing that Tony was so frustrated that he doubted his life, Pepper couldn't help covering his mouth and snickering. He deserved it. Ahem, don't worry, I'm not here to attack you today. Chen Shi coughed dryly and became serious. I don't believe a single punctuation mark in what you say. Let's get down to business. Tony was very unhappy. Well, that's right. Chen Shi paused and thought for a moment before continuing. You should know this guy next to me, right? I know Hulk, Dr. Banner. Tony replied casually. It's good to know each other. Let him stay here temporarily and study the steel armor with you. What? He stays here? Are you sure? Aren't you afraid that he will destroy my villa? Tony's eyes widened and he exclaimed again and again. Impossible. Absolutely impossible. This Banner is a time bomb. No one dares to take it in. Oh, is that really the case? I am just suitable to go to the deep mountains and old forests and live in solitude for the rest of my life. Hearing Tony's loud rejection, Banner sighed helplessly. Are you really a disaster? You just want to live a quiet life. Why is it so difficult? The world cannot tolerate me. What should I do? Banner's mood fluctuated violently because of Tony's words. His desire for destruction became stronger and stronger, and the green in his eyes became more and more intense. The Hulk was coming out. Banner, calm down. Others are not willing to accept you, but am I not afraid? You are not alone. I believe Tony will accept you too. Yes, I welcome you too. When Tony saw that the situation was not good, he quickly borrowed the donkey from the slope and laughed sarcastically. Really, you weren't willing just now. Banner is not stupid. Oh, you also know how annoying and cunning Chen Shi is. I am so off by him. Marvel just doesn't want to suffer any loss. While clearing itself, it also tries to shady Chen Shi. Classmate Tony has a way of doing it. The green in his eyes slowly faded, and Banner finally calmed down. Tony let out a long breath. This is the uncle coming. It's easy to ask God but hard to send him away. Chen Shi, I hate you. I will draw a circle and curse you. You can never eat instant noodles without seasoning packets. Tony's face turned blue and white, and he was a master of face changing. Tony, have you ever studied Sichuan opera? This face changing technique is great. Chen Shi couldn't help but joke that his own happiness must be based on the pain of others. I'm so good. Tony was so depressed that he almost vomited blood. It was all this guy's fault. Why did you bring him back in the first place? Hey, I've been angry with you for so long. I'll give you a life-saving message at half the price. Don't die by then. What a pity, then Pepper will become someone else's woman. At this moment, Schengen Chen is officially online and turning on the cheating mode. Such eloquent words shocked Tony. He knew that Chen Shi had a mysterious side, even though his personality was much worse than his. Tony asked solemnly, how much? What news? It's not much, $100 million, the same price, no matter how young or old you are. Chen Shi looked at Tony with a smile, and there was something meaningful in his words. Okay, I promise, tell me now. Tony gritted his teeth and agreed immediately. 100 million is not much, as long as it is useful, it is worth it. Banner and Pepper were dumbfounded. Is money so easy to make? 100 million just by talking. The world has become unrecognizable to me. That's it. Be careful about your good Uncle Obadiah Stan. He has brought back your first-generation armor. And want to kill you and take control of the board of directors. Chen Zai's words were not surprising, but this news made Tony Lei's skin burnt and his scalp numb. Impossible. Absolutely impossible. Tony's eyes widened in complete disbelief. He is an old man from Stark. He has worked hard to assist the Stark family for decades. How is this possible? You know people but don't know their hearts. You are a junior and he is an elder. How about letting you take orders from a junior? In response to Tony's disbelief, Chen Shi, who had received the money, decided to give him some free psychological counseling. This, Tony still didn't believe it. It was still a bit difficult to shake up decades of hard work with just a few words. But that's it, he can't die anyway. Chen Shi doesn't want to waste any more words. With this kind of words, he might as well serve Wanda. It seems that Tony will officially announce his withdrawal from weapons manufacturing tomorrow, so it's time to buy at the bottom. This is what he cares about. Whether Tony listens or not, believes it or not, Chen Shi doesn't care anymore. People, life and death are determined by fate, wealth and honor are in heaven. When it was time to leave, he took one last look at Banner. He asked Banner to hold on first. Avengers. Forget it. Forget it, that's all, I'm leaving. Before taking 2 steps, Chen Shi turned around again. By the way, Tony, quickly ask Jarvis to call me 100 million, otherwise I'm afraid I won't receive it. Roll. Tony was furious. Who are you cursing? Haha, let's go. Chen Shi laughed loudly, and then teleported away. Seeing Chen Shi disappearing suddenly, everyone's jaws almost dropped in shock. What fuck? Is this teleportation? Why did this guy take our plane to leave in the first place? He could teleport. I was kind enough to bring him back, but he actually lied to me. Tony is as depressed as a fly. Ever since this guy appeared, he has been in a state of being cheated. His demeanor has changed now. As long as Chen Shi appears, nothing good will happen. Tony was stunned. Pepper covered his mouth and snickered beside him, and Banner stared at the sky. It had nothing to do with him. In Wanda's room, Chen Shi teleported again. When he appeared, he frowned. System, why do I feel like there is a delay in teleportation? This happens whether it's the Red Devil or the Night Walker. He was full of doubts. Could this be a drawback of mutants? After all, there is no perfect ability in this world. The system also responded to Chen Shi at this time. The host, the Red Devil and Nightcrawler among the mutants all use different spaces to teleport, so there is only a few tenths of a second delay before they enter the different spaces. Sure enough, after hearing the system's explanation, Chen Shi finally understood. In the top combat power, this disadvantage is too big. The enemy can judge the action in advance based on your delay at any time. In a duel between masters, even in 0.1 seconds, the opponent can be killed. Chen Shi naturally would not tolerate such a thing happening. Is there any solution? This is a fatal problem. The system's answer was decisive. What can I do? Swallow the space gem, and use the infinite space power of the space gem to directly evolve the host into space transfer. Okay, that's it. Chen Shi nodded decisively. Steve, it's your turn to be born early. Chen Shi instantly thought of a way to achieve his goal 100%. At this time, Steve is sleeping in the Arctic Ocean and has not been fished out yet, so he can do a lot of work. Your superhero, Captain America Steve, and the national idol is still alive in this world. Are you surprised or surprised? Just trade this superhero Steve for the Cosmic Cube. Can Nick Fury not change the black braised egg? Absolutely impossible. No matter what, he must change. This matter is not up to him. If he doesn't agree, the people will tear him apart directly. He knows very well how crazy people in this country will worship individual heroism. Then in a few days, look for Captain America Steve, and then sell him for money. Ding, Congratulations to the host for slightly changing the fate of the plot character Hulk. The host will be rewarded with 100,000 points. Ding! Congratulations to the host for slightly changing the fate of the plot character Tony Stark. The host will be rewarded with 100,000 points. Currently, the host has a total of 5.9 million points. After waiting for so long, the system prompt came, and Chen Shi felt relieved. How could he get nothing by intervening in this plot? As for the impact that he would have if Steve was born 2 years earlier, he didn't consider it. Who cares? Isn't the plot just there to ruin it? Otherwise, what's the point of him coming to this world? No one can take away what he likes. As for the purple sweet potato spirit's anger, please, he still doesn't know in which corner of the universe he will implement his equality of all living beings. He couldn't notice it at all for a while, so what if he noticed it? A mere sub-heavenly father level purple sweet potato spirit dares to come to Earth. Now that Odin is not dead and the Ancient One is still around, the purple sweet potato spirit naturally does not dare to come and give away his head. Even before Hela died, Thanos did not dare to come. He is here now, and there is nothing Thanos can do about him. Chen Zili sorted out his thoughts and determined his current plan, feeling much more at ease. It's getting late. Let's order some food. It's time for Wanda to wake up and eat. I raised my hand to look at the time and realized it was so late. I immediately called a 5-star hotel and booked a meal. This is a reward for yourself. After all, you are a rich man, so you should enjoy what you should enjoy. And Wanda also needs to supplement her nutrition. She bleeds for him, sheds water for him, and sheds tears for him. Chen Shi feels so guilty. Only when Wanda gets better can he serve her, otherwise he would be worse than a beast. It has to be said that the takeout service here in the United States is quite slow, even in 5-star hotels. From the time he placed the order to the time it was delivered to his door, he had to wait for 2 hours. Is this a snail? It costs more than $20 to run errands. Is this efficient? It seems that we need to find a nanny who can do laundry and cooking for us, otherwise she will be exhausted. Although he is good at washing and cooking, what can he do now? He is a man who conquered the universe. Isn't this a price drop? Wanda, come with me tomorrow. I bought a house in Dabiai. The environment is better than here and it is safer. The hungry Wanda was feasting, and Chen Shi took this opportunity to express his thoughts. When eating and talking, efficiency comes first. Sure enough, Wanda agreed without thinking. Okay, it's all up to you. Where does the little woman Wanda have any opinions? Do you want a billionaire to listen to her salary of $2,000 a month? Don't be ridiculous, they are not like the group of women who drank too much chicken soup more than 10 years later. Well, eat more, I still have things to do in the evening. Chen Shi blinked and looked like he understood. TCH, whoever wants to do something, just get out. Wanda still doesn't understand his colorful heart, but she just can't stand it. Wanda was worried. She was afraid that she would be strangled to death, which would be a tragedy. If she ate too much, she would be strangled. Things that many women would not envy would give her a headache. By the way, I plan to find a nanny to do laundry and cooking for us. Oh, look for it, isn't this normal? Wanda replied a few words without raising her head. Well, don't be surprised when the time comes. The nanny I found is no ordinary person. Huh, is she from the second class? Wanda said mischievously. What I said is true, don't be surprised when the time comes. Okay, I'm curious. Wanda didn't believe it. Did she find a ghost? Or were there horns on her head? Or was there a tail behind her? Hey, secret. Chen Shi thought of Natasha, this must be quite touching. A black widow dressed as a maid. There is something. Chen Shi, who had been galloping on the grassland all night, was still full of energy. He also knew what Wanda was under when she got drunk. The beauty is touching. A vice president of the company where Wanda worked fell in love with Wanda. Everyone loves beauty, but if he wanted to use despicable means to threaten her, it would be a bit like rushing to reincarnate. Hammer Industries. Is it such a coincidence? I just prepared my future plans to be used on you, and you just showed up. Hearing the news, Chen Shi really wanted to laugh. It was a coincidence. Wanda, don't go to work. In a few days, your husband and I will open a new company, and then you will be my secretary. Let's also experience what a corrupt life is and create a group of super beautiful secretaries, hee hee. This guy's thoughts were slipping and slipping, and he went astray, almost drooling out. Go to hell, you are eating from the bowl and looking at the pot, you scumbag, I am really blind, let's break up. Break up, that won't work, you can't escape from my grasp. Have you ever seen that Cinderella escape from the clutches of a domineering president? Chen Xishan shamelessly hugged Wanda and jerked her wildly for a while, making Wanda roll her eyes wildly. What a fool. So shameless. You said I'm Cinderella. Ha, scumbag. I was wrong, you are my little princess. It has been a long time coming, my princess. Under the threat of Wanda's two-finger bullet, he still compromised. His brother was already firmly under his control, and Wanda was holding the emperor hostage to order the princes. While the two were fighting, Tony's iconic bohemian voice came from the TV news. Shish, dear, stop making trouble, important things are coming. Chen Shi quickly stopped Wanda who was biting him, and the news he cared about came. Ooh, okay, it tastes terrible, ba ba ba. The obedient and honest Wanda got up obediently, rinsed her mouth, then sat on the sofa and watched TV. At this moment, Tony in a suit and tie was sitting with Obadiah Stan and talking. Nice to meet you. Me too. Tony was the first to say hello, with a hesitant tone. Obadiah Stane didn't notice any difference, thinking that Tony hadn't woken up yet, because he often had such complete revelry. Tony stared at him and said, I didn't catch up with my father for the last time. I wanted to ask him what he thought about the production of arms. Have you ever been conflicted or wavered? He is still as strong as the media reported. At this time, Tony was a little excited, and it seemed that everything about his father made it difficult for him to let go. The son does not know the father, and the father does not know the son. When he was still alive, he never understood him, and there were only endless quarrels between father and son. The tree wants to be quiet but the wind does not stop, the child wants to be nurtured but cannot be kissed. The death of his father is a pain that Tony can never let go of. From then on, heaven and man were separated, and we never saw each other again. At this time, Obadiah Stan falsely patted Tony on the shoulder to show his care and love for him. Tony saw all this, and he never believed that the uncle in front of him, who had helped his family for 2 generations and loved him, would kidnap him. Tony couldn't help but look at Obadiah Stane with emotion. Maybe Chen Shi said something wrong and thought wrongly. He has been so kind to me for decades. How is that possible? It's just that this is not the time to be moved. Dozens of people are looking at him eagerly. So he looked at everyone with some sadness and solemnity. I witnessed young soldiers being murdered with the very weapon I was meant to protect them with. I also found that I was becoming part of this irresponsible world. Hearing this, not only did Obadiah Stan's face change slightly, but the faces of the dozens of reporters below also changed wildly. Mr. Stark, what happened? Everyone stood up and asked Tony nervously. Tony also stood up and walked to the podium. As soon as I woke up, I realized that besides making weapons, I could contribute a lot to the world. At this time, Tony had already walked to the podium. He looked at everyone present seriously, and said word by word with a serious expression. I decide, shut down the Stark Industries weapons division. Effective immediately. As soon as these words came out, there was an uproar immediately. Obadiah Stane, Pepper Potts, Rhodes, and all the reporters present stood up instantly. They looked at Tony in shock and shouted why. They're totally blown away. This news is like an atomic bomb going off in the Pacific. Their psychological defenses were instantly broken down. Click, click, click. The flash couldn't stop, and the scene was a mess, like a vegetable market. Obadiah Stan rushed up and pushed Tony down. Sorry, Tony just came back. Maybe he was drunk from the party last night. Sorry, everyone should go back first. We will discuss the next step of weapons plan internally and will inform you as soon as possible. In this way, Tony's press conference was terminated. Ha ha ha, you see, Stark Industries stock will plummet tomorrow, and I can buy the bottom in a few days. The live TV broadcast ended here, and Chen Shi cheered with joy, hugging Wanda for a while. Sure enough, everything is as planned. On the other side, Obadiah Stan found classmate Tony Stark with a sullen face. Tony, do you know how many points your Stark Industries stock will fall by what you just did? 40 points, maybe more. Tony shrugged and said nonchalantly. Ha ha ha. Good. As expected of the head of the Stark family, his courage is extraordinary. Obadiah Stane turned around and left angrily, he couldn't bear it anymore. Tony, this arrogant stumbling block, really needs to be kicked away. Hey, did you bring that steel mecha back? Now hurry up and research and improve it. Tony, this guy can use a hammer to knock out this big killer in a simple cave, don't let me down. After leaving, Obadiah Stane gave the death order to his close men in a sinister manner. Yes, boss, please don't worry. The man on the other end of the phone trembled with fear and swore in fear that this guy knew that he would be successful if he didn't succeed. After hanging up the phone, Obadiah Stane sat in the car quietly in a daze with a gloomy face, not knowing what he was thinking. The outside world has already exploded at this moment, and Tony's remarks have caused an uproar as expected. Fark, is Tony changing his ways? If Stark Industries doesn't make weapons, who will protect us? Tony, our hard-earned money. Sell the stocks quickly. Sell the stocks quickly. Some people are cursing, some are gloating about the misfortune, some are just sitting back and watching, and most of them are panicked. Stark Industries seems to have jumped on the market, falling by the limit that day. The people are panicked, and the authorities are in ups and downs. Neither the military nor the government will easily allow Tony to give up the weapons manufacturing department. They couldn't listen to this damage report, and they didn't want to hear it. Whether they were military representatives or official representatives, they either gathered outside Tony's company office or blocked outside Tony's luxurious villa all day long. But Tony would not pay attention to them at all and disappeared, so they all received a rejection. In the laboratory below the villa, Tony is making his steel armor Mark II. As for the humble Mark generation, he has long since left it behind. His head is everything. Jarvis, install a jet device on the sole of the foot and we can fly, but the shock absorber must be fixed. Okay, sir. By the way, our arc reactor technology also needs to be improved. It needs to be smaller and more powerful. Add 2 grams of palladium. Okay, sir. Tony worked day and night to transform the world, to the point of forgetting to sleep and eat. He has no idea that in less than a week, Stark Industries stock has fallen by the limit every day, and now it has fallen by 55% again. Countless stock investors were so heartbroken at the loss that they cried for their father and mother. As a result, countless people went bankrupt and embarked on the road of crime. There were also countless people who had no way to go and took the fast road of falling headfirst. They are a free country. Where do they get the savings? In desperation, the official can only distribute relief funds in large quantities to keep people alive. Otherwise, I will cause trouble for you at every turn, go shopping on the street, and smash some New York City Hall. What's the point? The key is the issue of support rate. Those in the opposition will not miss this great opportunity and preach everywhere about what they will do and how they will do it after they come up. This makes it difficult for the current officials to deal with it. They are taking advantage of the situation. They are so angry that their teeth are itching. The roots of their teeth are sore. Less than 500 meters next door to Tony, Chen Zai's luxurious villa was purchased. It cost about $5 million to acquire this luxurious villa covering an area of 10 acres. It is now 2009, this is an astronomical number. Ha ha ha, okay, that's it. Chen Shi was so happy that he could almost buy the bottom. It fell so fast because the capital market couldn't accept it for a while. When they calm down, they will definitely rebound a lot. Wes, use 10 times leverage and go all out to acquire Stark Industries stock. Chen Shi gave the order decisively. During this week, he was not idle. He found an intermediary company to register the company and recruited several traders. Just wait for this wave of fatness. Anyway, it won't be long before Tony will announce that he is Iron Man and return with new energy. At that time, Stark Group stock will reach its peak and be sold directly at that time. Boss, you are making a huge bet. This is $1 billion invested, and the leverage is still 10 times. I said just in case. If we lose, we will lose nothing. When Weiss heard this order, he gave Chen Shi an analysis from his professional standpoint. Anyway, he was not optimistic about it. He hoped that Chen Shi would stop. This was a loss-making deal. No, just listen to me. Chen Shi will naturally not waver in the slightest. What do you NPC natives know? Okay, you are the boss, you have the final say. Weiss shrugged and gave up the persuasion. When the boss speaks, he just listens. It's not his money anyway. He just gave it a kind reminder before. In this way, Chen Shi used $1 billion and 10 times leverage to directly acquire individual shares outside Stark Industries. When the stock investors saw that there were fools taking over the market, they became even more happy when they sold. Haha, interesting, there is a fool, sell it quickly. That's wrong. Why is this person still swimming upstream? Something is wrong. There must be something wrong. No matter what his problem is, he might still be dreaming of buying the bottom and waiting for Stark Industries stock to rebound. That's right, it's just that if you sell now, you'll still lose a little less. No, you can sell it, and I will follow his example. In the stock trading floor, everyone was talking about this fool who suddenly appeared. Just sell it if you can at this time, why do you care so much? Of course, there are also experts with a sensitive sense of smell who feel an unusual smell and suspect that it is a game. This is a shocking scam set by Stark Industries, and they are going to end up cutting leaks. Several bad news have been released, and this time Tony announced the dissolution of the weapons manufacturing department just to cut leaks. The previous news of Tony's disappearance was just the beginning, causing the stock to plummet, reaching $220 per share. Now they have announced the disbandment of the weapons manufacturing department and another depth bomb, which will directly cut the stock price in half. They want to drive down the stock price, then buy back. It's like cashing out tens of billions of dollars at a price of $100 per share, and then releasing bad news that directly lowers the stock price to $10. Then they use the cash out money to buy ultra-low stocks priced at $10 per share. It's so exciting to cut such a big wave of leaks. Use investors' money to buy investors' stocks. Then release good information and raise the stock price again. Leaks were harvested repeatedly for unknown reasons. This is the sinister intention and despicable practice of capital. People with a sensitive sense of smell already feel that they are possessed by Conan, and the stock god has joined him. I am the boss who makes everyone drunk, but I am sober. This treacherous Tony Stark uses our money to pick up women and stars. Hush, don't make any noise, we also buy these retail investors. Yes, that's right. Sneak into the village quietly and don't want any shooters. Yoshi, a devil like you who lived a small life is still good at playing. This is how you can make a fortune in silence. Tony Stark, a playboy and arrogant guy, doesn't believe a single punctuation mark in his words. After Chen Shi disrupted the situation, people who thought they were smart followed suit one after another, and Stark's stock, which was about to collapse, miraculously rose by a few points quickly. Of course this has nothing to do with Chen Shi, he has spent all his money long ago. Time passed, and another week passed, and Obadiah Stane finally couldn't bear it anymore. The bunch of rubbish in his private research laboratory couldn't develop a more advanced arc reactor. Mark I's reactor was too crude. In the movie, it was scrapped not long after. After all, let alone the craftsmanship under those conditions, being able to start up is the halo of the protagonist. After scolding a group of researchers, Obadiah Stane decided to sneak up on Tony Stark because he had something better. Ding-a-ling, jingle-a-ling. The bell rings. Tony sat on the sofa at night and answered the call immediately. This was a call from Pepper Pepper. With Tony's wisdom and Chen Zai's words, he always felt that there was something wrong. So Peebo was asked to investigate quietly. At this moment, the phone rang, something must have gone wrong. Just the next second, he was paralyzed and couldn't move. A figure slowly walked out from behind him, and Tony lay on the sofa with a pale face. Tony, are you listening? Seeing that no one was speaking, Pepper Pepper shouted again on the other end of the phone, but at this moment the situation was already under control by Obadiah Stane. Remember this thing. Obadiah Stane shook the guy in his hand proudly. This temporary paralysis device can be used in many places. Tony, when I ordered your assassination, I was worried that I was killing a golden chicken that laid golden eggs. But look, you survived, it's your life. As he spoke, he took the instrument and forcibly removed the reactor from Tony's chest. You are destined to lay this last golden egg. Playing with the arc reactor in his hand, Obadiah Stane finally showed a proud grin. The reactor where Tony's golden rooster hatched became his final swan song. Tony, who lost the arc reactor, was in critical condition. His breathing became difficult to maintain, his blood no longer flowed, and his heart no longer had the power to supply blood to the whole body. Ha ha ha, Tony, enjoy your last moments. Obadiah Stane will lead Stark Industries to the top and be heard all over the world. Don't worry, I won't change the name of the group. After all, your Stark family has a very good reputation, ha ha ha. This is a typical example of murder and heart-crushing. Not only does this guy want to take over the Stark group, but he also wants to use the reputation of the Stark family to pave the way for him. Obadiah Stane is really cruel, and Tony has the word regret carved on his forehead. He regretted that he did not follow Chen Zai's suggestion and did not really investigate the mastermind behind the scenes. He only let Pepper observe in secret. If he hadn't been arrogant, the result might not have been like this, right? Obadiah Stane felt even more proud when he saw the remorseful Tony. He vented out all the hatred he had hidden in his heart for decades. He was so happy, very happy. He took off. Once I stand up and make the decision, I wish the whole world would know about it. Taking the step of not recognizing his relatives, Obadiah Stane left the villa with wild laughter. Tony, who stayed in place, did not give up resistance. He knew that he must seize the time now. There is no one at home at this point. Even if Banner is at home, he can help him, so that he will not end up in this situation. I couldn't move at all. I called others and waited for them to rescue me. I was already cold. Weiss, tell Chen Shi. Tony struggled to call Jarvis, knowing in his heart that only Chen Shi could teleport to save him at this time. Even if it means paying a huge price, it doesn't matter to him, he can't care so much, the dog's life is at stake. Yes, sir. Jarvis took action immediately and called Chen Zai's cell phone. Hello, is this Mr. Chen Shi? It's me, Jarvis. When Chen Shi answered the phone, he knew that something had happened to Tony, just like in the plot. Mr. Stark is dying and urgently needs your help. Please come to his home as soon as possible. No problem, I'll go now. Thank you, sir. Jarvis thanked him repeatedly. He is a semi-intelligent existence. It has to be said that this existence is a bug. Without Jarvis, there would be no Iron Man. Any data and any model were completed with his help. This is 2009, the Marvel world is really awesome. After hanging up the phone, Chen Shi laughed happily. It was time to pluck wool again. You can't beat him to death in one step. What the movie Leo Badustin said is absolutely right. Tony is the golden chicken that can only lay golden eggs. Whoosh! Chen Shi teleported directly to Tony. Looking at Tony, who was pale and livid, he actually smiled heartlessly. Ha ha ha, Tony, what kind of look do you have? It's very unique. Come on, take a photo and remember it for a while. I have to auction this precious moment in the future. After saying that, he took out his cell phone and clicked, and slapped Tony hard. Tony, who was already pale, looked even worse now. The difficult breathing was already uncomfortable, and I was so angry that I couldn't even take a breath, and I almost burped. Quick, save me. Wait, okay, I will definitely pinch you to death. Even at this time, Tony is still very talkative. It is estimated that he knew that his life was saved, and the fear in his heart was reduced a lot. Hee, for what you said, my conditions have changed again. Okay, I don't want more. $1 billion is not excessive, right? It won't embarrass you too much, right? Chen Shi said coquettishly, grinning from ear to ear. It's a pleasure to kill this big dog. Just move your fingers and small amounts of money will come out. What are you doing? Give me the money quickly, or I'll leave. Chen Shi threatened again and stood up directly to show his actions. He will really leave. Whether Iron Man dies or not has nothing to do with me, okay? There are plenty of Iron Man in other universes. When Tony saw it, he immediately panicked. The dog's life was at stake. I promise, I don't know where he got the strength, but he was able to say a whole string of words. It seems that people's potential is endless. If you don't push yourself, you will never know where your potential is. Hey, just promise. Nice to work with, Mr. Tony Stark. Chen Shi smiled proudly and walked to the underground laboratory, where there was an old arc reactor. If you put that on him, it won't kill anyone. With a sizzle, Tony was resurrected with full health. Oh, shit, thank God, it feels good to be alive. Wrong, you shouldn't thank God, you should thank me and the Green Franklin. Tony sighed on the other side, but Chen Shi interrupted him on the other side. Oh, what the hell, you fool. Let me think about it, you stole more than 2 billion from me. You guy. It's okay not to mention this, but Tony's heart is bleeding when he mentions it. He gets up early and works hard day and night. Is it easy to make some money? This robber steals money whenever he comes. Haha, Tony, you will have to pay for it later, do you believe it? Next time it's 2 lives and $2 billion. Chen Shi smiled mysteriously and pretended to be a magic stick. His weird smile made Tony's heart skip a beat. He remembered, Pepper. There's danger. Obadiah Stan knows about Peepo stealing information. He has to save Pei-Bo, fake. He almost forgot about this matter, thank Chen Shi. Chen Shi, thank you. I have to go. After Tony finished speaking, he rushed into the basement, put on his steel armor and flew in the direction of Pepper. Haha, Tony, your money can't escape. Looking at the steel armor that left in a hurry, Chen Shi said disapprovingly. Chapter 31. Tony's flight is quite fast, and now he is flying all the way wearing Mark III steel armor. He has already let Jarvis locate Peepo's position. Not surprisingly, Pepper is at the Stark Group headquarters because she has nowhere to escape. The long tail flames brought by the steel armor are so dazzling and eye-catching in the dark night sky. At this moment, Tony is like a firefly in the dark night. The New York metropolis is the busiest at night, with people coming and going. A busy day calls for a relaxing night. They saw the steel armor streaking across the night sky, and the whole of New York was boiling. I don't know if I've watched too many sci-fi movies, but clips from their popular sci-fi movies actually appeared. God, is this an alien invasion? Hey, what is this? The mecha from the movie. Cool. I don't know how much this guy costs and whether he can produce it at scale. Wake up, you can't afford it, go back and take a nap, you will have everything in your dreams. No, let me come, I'll wake him up with a pee. I wonder what kind of genius could invent this. Would Tony Stark make it? Yes, the direction he is flying is Stark headquarters. It's Tony Stark for sure. Wherever Tony passed, people stopped to watch, and countless people cheered, roared, and whistled at him. This made Tony's vanity explode. It would be great to be an Iron Man who maintains world peace. The appearance of Chen Shi finally disrupted the course of the world. As the butterfly became stronger, it would set off huge waves every time it flapped its wings. Tony did not act chivalrously before this, but plunged into the laboratory to study new armors. He saw how powerful Chen Shi was, which made him feel very insecure. He wanted to make himself stronger. He was already thinking about whether to create an anti-Chen Shi armor, specifically targeting Chen Zai's various superpowers. Of course, Tony invented many anti-war armors in his life, such as the anti-Hulk armor, the anti-Magneto armor, the anti-Phoenix armor, the anti-Swarm Galactus armor, etc. Of course, anyone who opposes him will be beaten. But this is also progress. No matter what, he has really made progress. Soon, Tony had arrived at Stark Tower. At this moment, Peppermint began to deal with Iron Overlord in the small space of Stark Tower. Peepo, you run towards the rooftop of Stark Tower now. I can't lock your position now. Tony quickly asked her to run to a conspicuous place. He didn't know that Obadiah Stan was already wearing the Iron Overlord and wreaking havoc without restraint. No, Tony, listen to me. Now Obadiah Stan has also made steel armor, and his looks bigger. He is also following me now. I don't want you to take risks. Tony doesn't know, but Pepper does. She would rather sacrifice herself than take Tony's risk. What? He also has a steel armor. Fake. When Tony heard this, he cursed loudly. No wonder this old guy attacked him sneakily, for this reason. But despite the scolding, he would not give up little Pepper. He shouted loudly. No matter how much, you go to the rooftop now, and I will pick you up and take you to the ground. I don't believe that anyone in this world can make a steel suit that can compete with the great Tony Stark. Pepper was so moved when she heard that, she was almost moved to tears. This is the man she likes, and he will never abandon her at any time. Yeah, I listen to you. Pepper was moved and hung up the phone. With a strong woman character, she was naturally not as lazy as a little girl. The next moment she ran towards the rooftop with all her strength. The Iron Overlord behind him was chasing after him. This woman almost ruined his big business, how could he let her go? Through the thermal imaging scan, the Iron Overlord was rampaging unscrupulously, crushing desks, chairs, walls and so on. Tony on the other side just hung up the phone and immediately asked Jarvis to make a call. Chen Shi, save me. Ahem, I just pretended to be a big contest. Now that I'm fine, I just screamed for help. Shameless. Isn't this extreme shamelessness? The appearance fee is $1 billion per life. Deal, boss, help. Tony was scared. Of course he wasn't afraid of that bullshit Obadiah Stane on his own, but now with two people, how could the flesh and blood little Pepper stop the steel armor? After getting Chen Zai's answer, he finally felt relieved. Pepper, who was riding in the elevator, finally reached the top floor. Obadiah Stane also knew her intention and had already broken the glass wall and flew to the rooftop first. Hey, let's see if you survive. He seemed to have seen what happened to that woman, and he let out a deep, sinister smile. Huh, what's going on? Tony, you're not dead. Fake, you are such a scourge for thousands of years. You escaped death last time, but you survived this time. As soon as he turned around, he saw a gold-red armor slowly appearing from behind him. Naturally, he had seen Tony's steel armor before. Obadiah Stane, Chen Shi told me that you would harm me. I really can't believe what he said. You are the uncle who watched me grow up. Why, tell me why you do this. Tony's voice was a little low, a little sad, and more angry. He couldn't figure it out. Why, your father and you have made so much money relying on your inventive talent, and your life is extremely comfortable. But what about me? I do all the trivial meetings and negotiations, but all I get is 5% of the shares. You guys disappoint me so much. You're blocking my way to make money. When Obadiah Stane was asked the reason, all his past emotions suddenly exploded, and he asked hysterically. Sorry, it seems you are unbalanced. Tony shrugged, finally understanding and giving too much. He struck again mercilessly. Haha, it seems that I gave you too much, which made you have greater desires. The old man should not have given you shares in the first place, making you more greedy. Tony's words angered Obadiah Stane even more. He thought that he was conscientious and accomplished, yet he was treated like this. Obadiah Stane was furious. You. As soon as he finished speaking, he raised his huge steel fist and hit Tony's helmet hard. Boom. Upon seeing this, Tony immediately raised his right arm to block his head, and this time the two met head-on. What surprised Tony was that he was no match for Obadiah Stane. With a heavy blow, Tony was forced to kneel down on one knee. Haha, Tony, maybe you are very flexible, but unfortunately your defense and attack are not as good as mine. I have studied your steel armor, but you know nothing about me, ha ha ha. Seeing Tony being stunned by him, Obadiah Stane was so happy that he directly mocked him. HMPH, so what, you can't catch me. Tony snorted coldly, not willing to suffer any loss. Squeak, the door is open. At this time, Pepper arrived late, and it was really not the right time. Ha ha ha, Tony, God is going to kill you. Obadiah Stane felt that God was on his side. The wild laughter echoed throughout the rooftop, as if victory was already within reach. Neuropathy, Tony snorted disdainfully. Obadiah Stane here is an old fox, and he seized this opportunity to directly threaten Tony. Hey, kid, don't move, or I'll kill her with one shot. She's quite fragile. Okay, I won't move, I surrender. Tony pretended to be afraid of a rat and raised his hands in surrender. Tony, I'm sorry, it's all me who has dragged you down, please leave me alone and kill him to avenge me. Pepper burst into tears as if she was saying her final farewell. Good guy, this rivalry scene is really touching. It perfectly interprets the drama of a romantic idol and a domineering president. Ahem, Peppa, please stop being sensational, okay. I'm so embarrassed when I hear that. What's the matter? Suddenly, a ghost-like figure appeared on the rooftop, forcibly interrupting their impromptu performance. Who the hell are you looking for death? Obadiah Stane spoke impatiently without raising his head, as if he was chasing away a fly. Oh, when the little tortoise wears its shell and you so inserts green onions, what are you pretending to be? Chen Shi wouldn't be polite to a dead person. He would just yell at him, regardless of whether you understood him or not. Ah, it's you. Obadiah Stane was shocked. The mysterious threat that Chen Shi brought to him was so great that he had no idea what the tactics were. The masters he sent out could not see anyone alive or dead. In the end, he came to the conclusion that Chen Shi was an advanced mutant. It's me, old man. Are you surprised? Are you surprised? Chen Shi smiled brightly. He kind of liked this feeling of cat playing with mouse. You think I am at 100 meters, but I am at 1,000 meters. You think I'm 10,000 meters away and I'm in the atmosphere. You think I'm in the atmosphere, I'm in outer space. Seeing Chen Shi so proud, Obadiah Stane was naturally dissatisfied. Today I want to see what you can do to me. After saying that, he was about to take action, but was interrupted by Chen Shi. Stop. Your opponent is Tony Stark, not me. Bye-bye. Chen Shi didn't give them any time to react, hugged Peebo and ran away. What fuck? Chen Shi, you shameless guy. Tony was yelling, he was no match for this Iron Overlord. Why can't you hug my woman who is deliberately hugging me? Oh, shit, you fool. Ha, ha ha ha, Tony, he ran away and took your woman with him. Ha ha ha, you're dead. The woman still belongs to someone else. Oh, this is the best ending, just die. Obadiah Stane didn't expect that he also had the attribute of talking and attacking. Even though Tony knew that Chen Shi was just after money, he was still angry to death from this iron fool. Tony also rushed forward, and the two of them were protected by their iron shells. It was a crazy attack. Dang, dang, dang. The powerful sound of metal collision is quite pleasant. If you hit me, I will give you a slap in the face with my backhand. You jump up and hit me on the knee, I'll hit you on the waist, but I won't suffer anyway. The two of them went back and forth and had a great time. After testing each other, they could only produce some metallic flames, which was of no use. However, the Tony Mark III armor is equipped with pulse cannons, micro-missiles, shoulder 6-barrel mini-cannons and decoys, and can target multiple targets at the same time. So he chose fire suppression. This is the real killer move. Before, he was just playing around. He wanted to choose a quick victory. After all, he was carrying an old arc reactor with limited energy. Bang bang bang, bang bang bang. In a flash of light, dozens of small steel cannons and micro-missiles flew towards the Iron Overlord, as expected, but the effect was not satisfactory. Except for some grooves and some paint peeling off, the Iron Overlord is completely fine. This guy's defense is surprisingly strong. Haha, Tony, what do you think? This is titanium nickel alloy. Obadiah Stane's proud laughter was a bit harsh, and this guy was not the one who suffered the loss. Immediately, they also used heavy weapons to attack. The flexible Mark III mecha dodged left and right, danced an aerial ballet, and barely escaped the large-scale indiscriminate attack. However, it was still hit by several artillery shells, and some parts were seriously damaged, especially the weapon system. Jarvis, how much energy do you still have now? Tony asked quickly, running away if he couldn't beat him. He was not a hero. Anyway, Pepper had been rescued. Sir, there is still 20% energy left. There is still such a point. Then why not run away? There is still Pepper in the movie. Tony can't help it, things are different this time. The wind is blowing. Want to run. Obadiah Stane took a look and thought, how can that be done? Phew, phew, phew. A few micro-missiles chased Tony and flew over at high speed. At this time, Iron Overlord was also chasing after him, but it was a little slower. However, the tracking missile had already caught up with Tony, and he fell to the ground just like in the movie, causing a series of traffic accidents. Boom! On the elevated platform, Iron Overlord suddenly landed. He looked down at Tony and stamped his foot fiercely, ready to trample Tony to death. At this time, Tony rolled around like a lazy, dodging narrowly and narrowly. Chen Shi, what should I do? Help Tony, I will give you whatever you want. After seeing Tony in danger, Little Pepper pulled Chen Shi anxiously and begged, almost crying to him. Chen Shi was stunned. At this point, the two of them were getting along like this. Wasn't it supposed to be when the extremis virus appeared? You want me? Isn't this not good? If it really doesn't work, don't let Tony know about it. When little Pepper saw Chen Shi looking at him, he immediately misunderstood, thought wrongly, blushed with embarrassment, and hesitated to speak out in embarrassment. What, sister? What about you? Chen Shi shuddered hard and couldn't afford to eat. Maybe only Tony loves this one, and the aesthetic gap between them is indeed a bit big. Ahem, Peppa, you are thinking too much. There is an old saying in our country that a friend's wife should not be bullied. I promise Tony will be fine, don't worry. Chen Shi quickly assured that these ladies are a bit tough. That's great, thank you. Peppa was so happy when she saw that she no longer had to sacrifice herself. Then I'll go over. Don't leave here. Yeah, don't worry. After telling Peebo, Chen Shi suddenly appeared on the battlefield. Hi, Tony, how are you? Chen Shi looked at Tony with a smile, his face full of ridicule, not caring that this was a battlefield. Quick, stop talking nonsense and kill him. Tony was so scared that he couldn't die. The greatest sorrow in the world is that people die and the money is not spent. Tony hasn't had enough fun yet, there are so many celebrities and models waiting for his money and small steel cannons. No rush, Chen Shi said slowly, and then turned to look at Obadiah Stan. Hey, old guy, Tony offered 1 billion. How many billion are you going to offer to buy Tony's life? What, do you think this is an auction? Auctioning us both. Is there any natural reason for this? Is there any law? Both of them were so angry that they vomited blood. What are you doing? Stop nagging, my time is very precious, it costs hundreds of thousands per second. Chen Shi immediately became impatient when he saw the iron fool grinding his teeth. Haha, okay. Obadiah Stan was stunned for a moment and then realized, it would be easy to deal with this guy just because he is a money addict, he just needs to be obsessed with money. I offer 1.5 billion to take Tony's life. He immediately added 500 million. Chen Shi was delighted, big dog owners. Big dog owners. They are all big dog owners. He turned to look at Tony again and motioned for Tony to increase the price. Fark, you fool. Tony cursed secretly, it was so unlucky to meet this scammer. He didn't dare to risk his own life. He and Chen Shi have only known each other for a few weeks, who knows what his attitude is. Tony shouted, I will offer 2 billion. Very good. Tony bids 2 billion. 2 billion times, twice a billion, 20 billion, etc. Just when Chen Shi was about to deliberately prolong his tone, Obadiah Stan quickly interrupted. I'll pay 2.5 billion. He doesn't dare to bet. Who knows how capable this guy is? Everyone at the scene was stunned. 500 to 600 people on the elevated line were stunned. A great battle turned into an auction. Where are you having fun? Where are you having fun? The melon eaters were speechless. What the hell? Wait, they are Tony Stark and Obadiah Stane. FAQ. What a super news. There's an earthquake. Is this the collapse of Stark Industries? What hatred, what grudges, do you want us to live or die? Who is this guy in the middle? He's so awesome. He actually auctioned off 2 people's lives. 666. Mutant. Must be a mutant. The scene was abuzz, and there was a lot of discussion. Give full play to the melon-eating spirit of not being afraid of death, and eat melon bravely. Click, click. If you don't have a camera, take out your phone and take photos. Haha, Obadiah Stane offered 2.5 billion, Tony, how much did you offer? Chen Shi was already excited. The money came so fast, like a tornado. He was really a genius. Fun, fun. It doesn't matter whether it's money or not, it's just fun. He is not a money addict. Absolutely not. Chen Shi has been afraid of poverty since he was a child. He is extremely obsessed with money. He doesn't want to go hungry or cold anymore. Tony is in pain now, someone has taken advantage of him. He endured the pain in his liver and gritted his teeth and said, I'm offering 3 billion, which is really the last price. Okay, Tony bids 3 billion. 3 billion once, twice. Obadiah Stan couldn't stand it anymore. This was just a joke. He didn't believe it and couldn't beat him to death. But Chen Zai's mouth was like a machine gun. He said it twice, which almost annoyed him to death. Ah, I can't stand it anymore. I'll fight you. He was so angry that he couldn't bear it anymore and he jumped up, ready to crush Chen Shi to death with a mountain of weight. Okay, let's do it. Fight, fight quickly. The audience was cheering. They were jumping for joy. Haha, can't bear it anymore. Looking at Iron Overlord Chen Shi flying up, he snorted coldly. In the expectant eyes of everyone, Chen Shi slowly opened his hand and gently shook the giant in the sky. Click, click, click. In their horrified eyes, the terrifying steel armor in the sky froze instantly. Create ice out of thin air. Ignore the conservation of energy. What ability is this? Such a powerful mutant ability. So strong, incredible, wow, cool, this is so handsome. Mutants are so scary. Look, this, oh my god, how can it be so strong? How is it possible? How is it possible? Yes, they were completely paralyzed on the ground in fear. Chen Shi was so terrifying. In full view of everyone, the Iron Overlord was shattered to pieces. The super low temperature directly freezes this super alloy until it breaks into pieces. How terrifyingly low is this? If this were applied to people, wouldn't it freeze into powder? This. Not only Tony was so fierce that he swallowed his saliva, but everyone also did the same thing. They feel their throats are a little dry. Why? The air conditioning sucked in is too much. Tony was a little unbelievable, he simply didn't believe it. He knew that Chen Shi was very strong. Killing hundreds of people was like trampling hundreds of ants to death, and he also had many abilities. But who can tell him that this is ridiculously strong? The Iron Overlord, who can do nothing about micro-missiles, armor-piercing projectiles, and energy cannons, has become such a scumbag. What's wrong with me? Chen Shi smiled at him, as if he had crushed an ant to death, not caring. In fact, he was already secretly feeling happy. This was a little bit more fun than just pretending. Haven't you seen the looks of fear all around you? That's enough. Tony took a deep breath and forced himself to calm down. It's nothing. I never expected you to be so strong. I don't even know how to describe such power. Among the mutants, you are the most powerful, right? Tony seemed to be complimenting Chen Shi, but in fact he was inquiring about the mutants' background. Mutants are too low-key and only show up occasionally. They don't have any information, but many information files are in paper form. This kind of information is safe. In the online world, S.H.I.E.L.D. doesn't trust it at all. Just look at Jarvis and you will know that the S.H.I.E.L.D. database is like Tony's back garden and can be invaded at any time. Tony is insecure about any unknown, and he has to prepare for the worst. It is possible that the first person he kills is Chen Shi. This man is so dangerous, he knows everything, as if he can predict the past and the future. Haha, Tony, that's a good question. Chen Shi could tell by looking at Tony's uncertain eyes that he really wanted to kill him, and he probably wanted to research some anti-Chen Shi armor. The first one is to research what kind of material armor can withstand absolute zero, right? He doesn't mind fooling Tony, and putting some pressure on him can give him some motivation, right? The Marvel world wouldn't be fun without Tony Stark. Chen Shi felt that he was tired of playing, so he must open Tony's skull to see if there was any gem of wisdom inside. Let's see how awesome this man cursed by knowledge is and whether he is really so invincible. Chen Shi said modestly, people like me are really too weak in this universe, as weak as dust. Not to mention far away, there are about 10 mutants stronger than me. Which 10? Tony blurted out. He never imagined that there would be so many powerful people, so where should ordinary humans go? Chen Shi glanced at Tony jokingly, who smiled awkwardly. If you continue to fool me, you will be fooled. My wives are better than me. Tony was stunned. That's it. Who knows who your wife is? What else? Also, they are not born yet, they will be soon. But don't despair. The power of human beings is equally powerful, which is incredible to you. If I can't give you darkness, I won't give you light, right? It wouldn't be fun to scare you into losing your fighting spirit. Chen Zai's words finally ignited Tony. Do we also have a powerful existence? But think about it, if you have powerful mutants, you can't have powerful humans. This is not a conflict. Excited Tony couldn't wait to ask. Who are they? How about the most powerful mutant? Chen Shi saw this and smiled slightly. Want to know? Can you tell me about the consulting fee? Tony was very hurt. This guy who wants money, could he be cheating on him again? In an instant, he thumped, and his inner vigilance instantly turned red. This guy wasn't just trying to fool me by just giving me a few names, was he? As long as money is discussed, Tony's balls will ache. He has been cheated too much. But the curiosity that was aroused was like a cat scratching, it was extremely itchy. Eventually Tony gave in. How much? $100 million. Hiss. Tony gasped again. Everyone said that he, Tony Stark, made money quickly, but he was weak compared to Chen Shi. Okay, I agree. Tony gritted his teeth and said bitterly. Hey, you know Mr. Tony Stark is a rich man. Chen Shi chuckled and continued to say leisurely under Tony's extremely painful gaze. I'm telling you, don't spread the word, or you may risk your life. The Earth lineage includes the Supreme Mage Ancient One, the Supreme Mage Doctor Strange, and the Cosmic Warrior Captain Marvel. Of course, there is also the demigod Star-Lord, he is the strongest. Of course, the strongest among them in the future is you, Tony Stark. In the future, you save the entire universe. Fool, foolhard, who knows the future anyway, I won't stop until I fool him. Isn't Star-Lord comparable to mortals in the body of a god? Isn't he so powerful that it's puzzling? Whatfuck, I can understand what you said before. The name sounds very impressive, but when you mention me, the key is that I save the universe, so this is nonsense. Tony listened very carefully at first. These were powerful people he had never heard of before. What a big secret. But in the end, I actually have myself. Am I the savior? Fark, fark. The stars are still the same stars, the cheaters are still the cheaters, nothing has changed. Believe it or not, alas. These days, trust between people is completely gone. To be honest, no one believes it. I'm leaving. Oh, by the way, there is a total of $4.1 billion today. Don't forget to call me and be quick. Chen Shi waved his hand and said with an indifferent expression. Then he swished and teleported away from here. Let Tony clean up the mess, he will kill but not bury. In a wasteland on the outskirts, Chen Shi suddenly appeared. It seemed interesting, but he came a little late. A sizzling sound. 2 dim doors of light suddenly appeared, and a dozen fools rushed out of them. The Time Guardians are here. It had only been a few days, and when he changed the timeline a little, the other party realized that he had arrived in a certain universe. There is something coming from the Mutation Administration at this time. However, Chen Shi is no longer Wu Xiaomeng, and he will look upon him with admiration after 3 days apart. As soon as this group of people appeared, they threw out a time deceleration device, which instantly slowed down the flow of time 16 times within a radius of 100 meters. It's a pity that Chen Shi knows their methods well, and he is not the fool like Loki who insists on pretending to compete. Whoosh! Immediately teleport a few hundred meters away from that cheating area. Huh, what's going on? How does this kid have superpowers? Fake, it's only been a few days, and it's growing up a bit fast. Is this teleportation? It shouldn't be. How could he do it? I can't understand. I can't understand. We must be dreaming. These guys can't help but hate each other. It completely violates scientific principles. Everything was like a dream, they were completely down. However, soon they could no longer speak, and their thoughts fell into eternal darkness. Because Chen Shi takes action. Poor puppets, let me help you escape and end this miserable life. Please don't thank me, I am Lei Hong. They don't know what Chen Shi is talking about, puppet. Sad, liberated. They don't understand, but they don't need to understand. Because in their horrified eyes, they discovered that their teammates were slowly turning into ice sculptures, and then in their horrified eyes. Bang, bang, bang. It exploded into a pile of powder and flew away with the wind. My hair is a meter thick, immeasurable heavenly lord, may you give birth to a good child in your next life. Looking at the evaporating time guard, Chen Shi murmured softly. Is this the life of an ant? A game between big shots, they are not even cannon fodder. Ding, the host kills the elite time guards and gets 200 points of bioenergy. Ding, the host kills the elite time guard team leader and gets 500 points of bioenergy. Bite, a series of sounds sounded, and Chen Shi gained a total of 2,500 points of bioenergy, which was a great harvest and a pleasure. Outside the multiverse, the alarm bells of the mysterious Time Variation Administration rang loudly, and the piercing sirens made the justice palpitate. Come here, Come here. What happened? She got up angrily and walked out, shouting. At this time, a gray ghost civilian employee hurried over and said out of breath, "Sorry, Your Excellency, something happened to the universe numbered 199,999. The entire team was wiped out while the time guards were capturing the time criminals. And in the Doomsday timeline of 2387, Loki once again killed our team of time guards." The more the guy talked, the more frightened he became, because the heavy breathing of the Justice told him that his anger could not be suppressed and the volcano was about to erupt. Fark, fark, these two fools. The Justice frowned and paced back and forth. After a few seconds, she suddenly stopped. Ignore Chen Shi for now. Use all your strength to capture Loki, and send people to Chen Zai's universe to monitor him closely. We don't have to arrest him, but we can use others to discuss this annoying guy. After taking a deep breath for a long time, the chief judge suppressed his anger, calmed down, and issued the order. Yes, Your Honor. The person who came quickly agreed and left quickly. Staying for one more second would be torture. The Justice looked at the back of the leaving guy and fell into deep thought. She had to make a choice. Chen Shi was just a time criminal and had no intention of subverting the Time Variation Administration. But female Loki is different. She wants to overthrow the Time Variation Administration. She knows which is more important. HMPH, Chen Shi, I'll take care of you when I get my hands on it. The woman snorted coldly and disappeared slowly. Chen Shi on the other side picked up the weapon left on the ground and smiled mysteriously. This thing is used for sneak attacks, but it is quite good. It is a good thing to be directly exiled to the Doomsday timeline. When he finished cleaning the battlefield, he sat down quietly. Because the real harvest comes. Ding! Congratulations to the host for disrupting the plot of Iron Man 1, changing the fate of a series of people, and rewarding the host with 2 million points. Ding! Congratulations to the host for disrupting the plot of Steel 1. The host is rewarded with an Umbrella Hive base. It has been placed in the system space for the host and can be withdrawn and placed at any time. Ding! Congratulations to the host for disrupting the plot of Steel 1. The host will be rewarded with a bodyguard for android number 18 in the main world. Every time the system dinged, a smile appeared on Chen Zai's face. Great harvest! Great harvest! This is giving money, giving equipment, giving it back to people. When did the system become so generous? Comfortable. Hey, system, what's going on? Return to the host. Every time you end a major plot, the system will calculate the reward based on the degree of damage to the host. Chen Shi was immediately overjoyed and almost laughed. If that's the case, that would be great. Hehe, let's break these guys down before we talk. This is completely in line with my own ideas. Step on people. Play with people. Take girls by the way and reach the peak of life. Let these NPC natives feel the fear of being dominated by themselves. System, let's summon android number 18 first. Brother, I have a bodyguard too, and a beautiful one too. Ding, as the host wishes, start summoning android no. 18. As soon as the system finished speaking, a space crack appeared in front of Chen Zai's eyes again. This time, it was no one else but a peerless beauty from the comics. This is android number 18. The system is based on the prototype of android no. 18. She is the same as no. 18 Yi Mao in the comics, with short blonde wavy hair, charming big amber eyes, and a tall and alluring figure. The ripples of light flowed between the movements, and the trembling movements were particularly moving. The system understood him and specially modified it. Chen Shi also knew that this beautiful and charming woman was not just a vase. A powerful artificial person modified based on human beings. Due to the permanent energy furnace, she has unlimited energy. Her cells age very slowly and she is not prone to aging. There is no need to eat, she only needs to add some water. He has a calm and mysterious temperament and does not show any fear. However, he is also a bit stubborn and is not good at expressing his true feelings. He likes to provoke others with his words, but he actually has a heart that cares for others. She has a somewhat arrogant personality. She doesn't care about others on the surface, but she still cares a lot on the inside. Like an ordinary human being, she also likes dressing up and money. Just when Chen Shi was looking at number 18 with great satisfaction, number 18 was also looking at him. Is this guy my master? I just don't know what his strength is. She was created by the system, and the memory is naturally from this world. There is no other memory. I saw him moving lightly, twisting his waist and slowly approaching Chen Shi, spitting fragrant orchid. Dear master, am I beautiful? As he spoke, Chen Shi was pushed to the ground. With long white legs stretched across his waist, number 18 looked like a knight, staring at Chen Shi with burning eyes. Chen Shi swallowed hard. Did happiness come so suddenly? You are quite beautiful, but can you change the way you look? No, I like this. No 18's beautiful eyes widened, and she refused with unusual force, because she had already felt it. Next is her solo performance. But the stubborn female knight does not admit defeat and must face the difficulties. The sky is the quilt and the earth is the bed, and the moon in the darkness shines on the earth, adding a touch of mystery to the number 18. Of course it would be perfect if the red handprints on the cotton hemisphere can't be seen. You go ahead and wash it, and help me clean it up as well. Chen Shi condensed the water vapor in the air and turned it into a downpour, giving number 18 and himself a cold shower. Chen Shi remained motionless, actually immersed in the system. This guy still had some discernment and didn't bother him when he was doing important things. Ding, the plot character number 18 has been detected. Please ask the host if he can extract his abilities. Since number 18 has multiple abilities, 1 million points are required to extract them. Withdrawal, isn't it just 1 million? Ding, host please wait a moment, the ability is being extracted. The situation this time was the same as last time. The same slot machine appeared in front of him, with the ability of number 18 marked on it. Dance air technique, Qigong wave, super speed movement, Qi circle slash. Bew, bew, bew. Boom, super speed moving icon explosion. Ding, congratulations to the host for gaining super speed. Do you want to extract the fusion now? Merge. Ding, fusion is starting, host please wait. Time passed and the fusion was completed. Ding, the fusion is complete, please feel it for yourself, the host. Chen Shi closed his eyes and started moving at super speed. For a moment, the whole time seemed to stop and everything stopped moving. When Quicksilver started to move at super speed, the whole world seemed to have been pressed on the pause button, so this is how he feels now. Huh, what's going on? Strange. Master, do you also have the ability to move at super speed? Number 18 looked at Chen Shi in shock. Bingo. That's right, I can do anything. Chen Shi replied sarcastically. Wow, the master is so awesome, I admire you so much. Number 18 rolled her charming eyes, pretending to match her master's pretense. Super speed movement has no effect on people who also activate this ability, so number 18 is the same as usual. But everything within a kilometer radius of Chen Shi was suspended. Is this a kind of time ability? The Flash can restart the universe, which is the result of extremely fast speed. I have acquired a very buggy ability again. No matter whether I am escaping or making a sneak attack, who can stop me? Teleportation and super speed movement, but he still lacks a sharp knife as a weapon. He also wants to stab someone with a knife. As an elegant man, he disdains speaking with his fists. Wolverine is good, and Wakanda is also good. We will go to them for friendly negotiations in a while. Chen Shi murmured secretly, and it was difficult to detect. In a moment, he had already chosen the next victim. Seeing the evil smile on Chen's lips again, he knew someone was going to be unlucky again. Oh, I don't know which unlucky guy it is. Let me observe 3 minutes of silence for you. Amen. The two of them cleaned up the messy battlefield and prepared to go back. Only the downed patches of messy grass on the ground told of the intensity of the battle just now. It could be said that they were fighting each other to the death. System, open the properties panel. Chen Shi did not teleport home with number 18, but walked slowly back along the road. Ding, the properties panel has been opened, the host can check it by himself. Host, Chen Shi. Age, 22. Level, Peak of Earth. Physique, Frost Giant Physique. Ability, Water Control Level A, 10 km range. Ice Type S Level, -150 degrees Celsius. Fire Control Level C, 500 degrees. Carbon Temperature Transformation, second to Original Edmon and Vibranium. Teleportation Level A, Earth Range. Super speed movement a level 1000 kilometers per second. Self-healing, non-fatal injury, healed within 1 minute. Items: Time Stone, Space Stone, Reality Stone, Power Stone, Mind Stone, Soul Stone. N pieces. An Umbrella Hive Factory. Subordinate. Android No. 18. Points. 6.9 million points. Bioenergy. 3,850 points. No problem, great. Verbose abilities. Rich points. Capital is getting stronger and stronger. After closing the panel beautifully, Chen Shi looked at number 18 again. This woman with unlimited energy is Newbie, and she is already like a normal person. Number 18, what's your name? Number 18 first glanced at Chen Shi with disdain before continuing to say softly, my name is Lolly. Lolly, it's a pretty name. It's simple and easy to remember, just the system gets the name. Along the way, I learned a lot about the memories of number 18, living alone in New York without any relatives or friends. Currently, he has just graduated from college and has no job yet. There is no flaw in the identity arranged by the system. In every detail, he is completely native to this world. There is no fear that someone with telepathy could detect any information about the existence of the system. Ding dong, ding dong. When Chen Shi returned home, she forgot to bring her keys and wanted to take number 18 home in a formal and fair manner. Teleporting in. Doesn't it seem like he's guilty of committing a crime? Can I, the head of the family, still mess around? What's the rush? Wait. Wanda's angry voice came from far away, and it was so full of gunpowder that it almost exploded on the spot. Squeak. The door opens. He asked weakly. My dear, what is going on with you? What kind of good day is today? Do you want to celebrate? Celebrate. Of course you have to celebrate well. Hello, my name is Wanda Maximoff, nice to meet you. After finishing speaking, he glanced condescendingly at number 18 and thought to himself, the little fox looks so charming and pitiful. Hello, it turns out to be Mrs. Wanda. I am the master's maid. My name is Lolly. Nice to meet you. Number 18 greeted her very politely and greeted her with a smile. This friendly attitude caught Wanda a little off guard. Are you not here to cause trouble? Or is this woman a master? Wanda was stunned, not knowing what to do. Wanda, who is new to the world, is just a showman. She looks menacing and intimidating, but in fact she is easy to fool. She turned to look at Chen Shi blankly. Husband, is he the nanny you mentioned? Chen Shi didn't expect Wanda to be so cute and easy to deceive. Number 18 could easily give in and admit defeat, so she believed him. In that case, if he borrows the donkey from the slope, you won't be polite. Yes, she is nanny number 1, who specializes in taking care of us. Chen Shi was talking nonsense, she would find out soon. When Wanda heard Chen Zai's answer, she felt that she had misunderstood, so she quickly invited number 18 in. Oh, you are not a madam. We are both about the same age. You can just call me Wanda, and I will call you Lolly. We will all be a family from now on. There are only a few people in our family, and there is nothing to be busy with. Wanda, who also came from a poor background, does not have the mentality of a nouveau riche. She is bossy and bossy. As before, she is tolerant and normal-minded. Yeah, thank you Wanda. Number 18 thanked her sweetly, and at the same time secretly winked at Chen Shi playfully. Look, you stupid master, you still have to look at me. Among women, especially those of the same age, the topics are all kinds of topics, including cosmetics, bags, clothes and jewelry. You can always find so many topics to talk about that you can never finish them. Besides, time flies by and we must not cherish our cable time. She must let him know how powerful she is. Look, you don't have the strength to go out and look for this and that every day. Don't worry, it's no problem. Chen Shi was overjoyed when he heard this and repeatedly promised, what's this? Wanda finished cleaning up Chen Shi. Put your hands on your hips, you look like a great lady. Yes, yes, my lady Wanda. I was wrong. Wanda narrowed her eyes and nodded with satisfaction. Well, that's good, you know what's going on. Such a cute and charming Wanda made Chen Shi couldn't help but rub her hair vigorously and comb it out. At noon, no one wanted to cook, so they simply ordered a lot of food and made do with it. After lunch, Chen Shi checked and found that the money Tony owed him had arrived. It must be said that Tony's work efficiency was quite high. Lolly, let's go out with me. Chen Shi shouted, and she was the only one holding up the scene. This Lolly was dressed in professional attire, and she really looked like that. She acted as her secretary, and her personality immediately came into play. Where are you going, master? The New York City government needs to do something. Oh, okay. In this free country, as long as you have money, what can you do? In the city hall, Chen Shi brought Lolly here. However, Chen Shi didn't say much. He just said that he had brought billions of dollars to buy a piece of land and build a playground for fun. In the end, it would be best to have ready-to-go bankrupt pharmaceutical companies, with the convenience of these ready-made equipments. Of course, if he said it casually, others would definitely treat him as a joke, but based on Chen Zai's luxurious clothes, mysterious temperament and the balance in his bank card, he knew that the person in front of him was an uncle. Even the governor of New York State immediately trotted out, reaching out his hand and receiving him warmly from afar. Haha, Mr. Chen is really young and promising. Mr. Governor, you're welcome. I have something to ask for today. The two of them exchanged business talk for a while, and then got down to business after a while of pleasantries. The governor smiled and asked, I wonder how much land Mr. Chen needs. We will try our best to satisfy him. The financial crisis has just ended, and countless companies have gone bankrupt around the world, especially in the United States. So now there are so many laid-off workers, but they are worried to death, and they are always shopping for you. Who can bear this? I need a bankrupt pharmaceutical company or something like that. I am going to invest in a pharmaceutical company. The initial investment will be $5 billion, and the subsequent investment will increase to $20 billion. Chen Shi said it calmly, just like investing a few hundred yuan, but it really scared the governor. Are you telling the truth? The governor became excited, stood up suddenly, and asked nervously. Of course, it's necessary. Chen Shi replied calmly. Ha ha, sir, you have really solved a large labor gap for us. Thank you. The governor excitedly bowed to Chen Shi. You're welcome, it's a matter of mutual benefit. Then please, Mr. Governor, help me contact several bankrupt companies. We will take all their land and equipment. No problem, I'll get back to you soon. The governor repeatedly assured him that this was a great achievement. Okay, I won't bother the governor. This is my business card. If you contact the seller, you can call me. I will ask the lawyer to sign the contract. Okay, Mr. Chen, don't worry. I can help you get it done tomorrow morning. How many bankrupt companies are waiting to be taken over now? The price is absolutely cheap. Okay, bye. Goodbye. The governor hugged Chen Shi goodbye, but Chen Shi quietly pulled out a piece of his hair. Chen Shi drove number 18 to an intermediary company. This company is a professional salvage company. The information obtained from the online search is that they are very professional and have the highest ratings. However, their expertise also gives them the confidence to charge high fees, so asking them to do the same thing is much more expensive than the second-ranked one. Hi, sir, madam, welcome. How can I help you? As soon as I entered the door, a beautiful young lady greeted me enthusiastically. God is here, how can I not be enthusiastic? That's it, go to the Arctic Ocean to catch a person. Chen Shi got straight to the point and kept talking in a nonchalant manner, leaving the young lady at a loss as to how to answer the question. What, to fish for a dead man? After being stunned for a long time, she asked weakly. Yes, I will meet your boss and talk to him. Chen Shi went on to say that this young lady is obviously not qualified. Okay, as you wish, please come with me. The little girl shrugged and took Chen Shi to find the boss. Boom, please come in. A baritone voice came from inside, and the young lady pushed the door open and entered. Boss, this guest has big business to discuss with you personally. After speaking, he pointed at Chen Shi and number 18, then poured them 2 cups of coffee before leaving. I wonder what I would call you, sir or miss. You can call me Bao Dylan. Chen Shi, Laurie. After introducing ourselves to each other, we got to the point. Sir, miss, may I help you with anything, but I don't think you two are short of money. Bowen said with a smile, this was not a compliment, but just telling the truth. Observing words and emotions is a basic skill. Chen Shi chuckled. Yes, we are indeed not short of money, but this matter is a bit difficult. It won't take more than 2 months to complete. Now Bowen became interested. Oh, we especially like things that are challenging. If you have any requests, sir, please feel free to ask. Chen Shi also quickly put forward his request. That's it. I want you to find me a person who is frozen in the Arctic Ocean. I can confirm that he is not dead. Of course, the only task is to find him as soon as possible. The only information I can provide is that he crashed near an iceberg. There is no other information. After hearing this, Bowen fell into deep thought, and Chen Shi quietly drank coffee and waited. In Bao An's opinion, the world is a bit crazy. Going to the Arctic Ocean to find a person frozen in ice. This is no different from finding a needle in a haystack. This task shouldn't be too difficult. Getting close to the iceberg. There are so many icebergs in the Arctic Ocean, so many fragments. They have to go and detect them one by one, which is a lot of work. When Chen Shi was about to finish a cup of coffee, Bob made a decision. Sir, this job is quite challenging. We will take it. But the remuneration is quite high. We will dispatch hundreds of people, and we are not sure how long the work will last. It will take at least more than a month. Bowen paused and looked at Chen Shi quietly, trying to see his expression. Chen Shi naturally noticed. He took a sip of coffee and said slowly, money is not an issue, you just set a price. When Bowen heard this, he gritted his teeth and said, Sir, I want at least $30 million in remuneration. When Bowen said this, he didn't know what to do. This was 2009, and this was a sky-high deal. But after considering the investment and risks, he felt that there was not much money to be made, and others might not necessarily spend so much. Unexpectedly, Chen Shi didn't hesitate at all and nodded directly. $30 million is $30 million, but you have to help me find this person. Of course, I can't give you that person's photo now. I'll send it to you when you get nearby. I can also advance a deposit of $10 million to you. If you can, then sign the contract now. Chen Zai's boldness was beyond anything Bowen could have imagined. He was already prepared for the deal to fail or to bargain. There are so many rich people these days. Are they so tough? Okay, sir, he is really the most generous guest I have ever seen. Please rest assured that since you said there is, then there must be this person. Bowen smacked his flattery fiercely, trying to flatter him 1,000 times. How can such a rich man play tricks on him when he is full? That is impossible. If people say there is, then there must be. Chen Shi didn't wait long here before a lawyer came over with 2 contracts. Chen Shi signed the contract in a hurry. It's a pleasure to work with you, Mr. Chen. It's a pleasure to work with you, Boss Bao. After signing the contract, both of them shook hands with satisfaction. Bowen also wanted to stay with Chen Shi for a meal, but Chen Shi declined. He has made an appointment to take number 18 by his side and Wanda at home to go shopping tonight. Why don't we celebrate their harmony? We haven't even given them gifts yet. It's so inappropriate. At this moment, S.H.I.E.L.D. headquarters was not calm. In the office of Marvel's big black man, the black-faced and black-hearted, and the famous black braised egg Nick Fury. At this moment, the video of the battle between 2 mechas was played over and over on the huge projection. S.H.I.E.L.D. is really pervasive. People are observing from a distance, and they directly mobilize satellites. In the video, 2 super mechas full of sci-fi and futuristic elements are constantly fighting each other, and they even have powerful firepower devices. They easily destroyed high-rise buildings at will. Those buildings were like paper, especially the big black shell, which was too barbaric. When he landed on the elevated road, the various speeding cars in front of him were as fragile as toy cars that could be crushed under his feet. If such future technology is too scary and makes them worried, then the men in the future are the ones who really make them fearful and desperate, right? The big black shell that cracked metal and cracked stone was extremely terrifying, but the man just waved his hand casually, as if to shoo away flies, and he turned the vicious mecha into ashes. This is really despairing and scary. This level of terror is unbelievable, and they don't know what to say. Ignore the law of conservation of energy. Create super low temperatures. They knew that a guy named Bob, nicknamed Iceman, could ignore the law of conservation of energy, but his ability was incomparable to the man in the video. Silence, deathly silence. There was only the faint sound of breathing in the whole office. They didn't know what to say. This person was not something they could deal with. Silence, still silence. I don't know how much time passed, but just when the atmosphere was about to freeze, Nick Fury couldn't help it anymore. He is going to use the topic to his advantage. Everyone here, you have all seen it. Military technology. Stark Industries has been able to create such powerful mechas, but what about our scientific researchers? I don't know what you are doing. Are you just eating and waiting to die? You are getting huge research funds, but I don't even care what you do. Nick Fury is still a bit of a thief. Not long after he took over S.H.I.E.L.D., many of his people were arranged by others. He had to establish his authority over this group of people, otherwise it would be bad if he was doing things in a shady manner. Nick Fury is the god of S.H.I.E.L.D. Nick Fury's harsh criticism made technical staff members such as Gemma Simmons and Leopold lower their heads in embarrassment. But I felt aggrieved in my heart. How could they compare to the once-in-a-century genius Tony Stark? Who is he? The best genius of the Stark family. Of course, I can only pretend to be an ostrich at this moment. Who wants Black Braised Egg to be angry? I can't afford to offend him, I can afford to hide. Nick Fury gives up when he gets good, letting them know that he is not a good old man without a temper. Next he started acting again. But to be honest, you have tried your best. After all, Tony Stark's genius is obvious to all. Now your job is to study this kind of armor, starting with the exoskeleton armor. As long as you can produce results, I will certainly not hesitate to reward you. Promotions and salary increases are guaranteed. You will get as much from me as you pay. Of course, I will join forces with the military to put pressure on Tony and ask him to hand over our armor so that you can study it carefully and try to make it for us. I have to say that Nick Fury's heart is extremely dark. He even had no scruples in speaking out in public about his idea to rob Tony. And he said it as if he were taking his own things, with no concern at all whether Tony would sneeze at him or whether he would treat Nick Fury like an onion. Hit a stick and give me a red date. As a superior, the black-hearted braised egg Nick Fury is also very good at playing. This is just the first step, there is more to come. And the agents in our bureau, it's been half a month since Chen Shi showed up, right? I'm just asking, what did you get? Why didn't I receive any useful information? Apart from sleeping, what takeout I ordered, where I went, and what I did, there was nothing specific at all that was useful. I'm giving you half a month to keep an eye on him, who he met with, what he talked about, and what specific actions he took. If you still can't get useful information, all of your agents above level 5 will have their vacations cancelled this year, and their bonuses will be cancelled. If that doesn't work, you can quit the Strategic Homeland Defense Attack and Logistics Support Agency. At this point, Nick Fury was already very stern, and the fierce one-eyed dragon looked deeply at everyone. Everyone who was swept by him lowered their heads, and no one dared to look at him, as if they were impressed by his power. Nick Fury was also very satisfied with everyone's reaction, and couldn't help but feel a flash of pride. Look. We are also very fool-like. Little did they know, 80% of the people here were members of Hydra. They simply turned a deaf ear to his words and did not dare to look at him. They were indeed harboring evil intentions. He withdrew his gaze with satisfaction and regained his composure. You all get out. Coulson, Natasha, Barton, please stay for a while. Swish, swish, swish. Except for Nick Fury, who was left alone, everyone else left. They wished they could leave as soon as possible, it was so depressing here. What is left in the office now is his core, that is, Helu Dan can have 30% of his trusted confidants. According to Nick Fury's character, being so tall is already as high as the sky. Level 9 agent, Maria Hill, airship commander, has always been SHIELD's invisible second in command. I am a mature, cool, and beautiful girl with a good figure. Level 8 agent Phil Coulson, the village chief of the Novice Village in the Marvel Cinematic Universe novels, has the image of a good old guy, but good guys are a bit short-lived. The 7th level agent, Hawkeye, is Clint Barton, a coy with a talent for shooting, and all wars are won with him. The 7th level agent, Black Widow Natasha, naturally needs no introduction, everyone knows it, and she is so charming that people are eager to drink her bathwater. Of course, at present, only a small group of them have any trust from the black-hearted braised egg Nick Fury. Forget about the others, they are not trustworthy at all. Who knows who they are taking orders from? After the so-called idlers left, Nick Fury leaned over the desk with both hands and looked around them, taking a closer look. I don't know if I can completely believe you, but I have to believe you. I hope you won't betray my trust. After all, we have known each other for so long and are close friends. When everyone heard this, their expressions were complicated. This was really an unpleasant feeling. The more you know, the more dangerous it is. It was not difficult to see that Nick Fury was hiding something from them, and they knew very well how scheming front of them was. Not only are the people black, but their hearts are even darker. Although they feel a little uncomfortable, no one shows any dissatisfaction. They are all masters. Nick Fury knew it well, but he didn't have that much time to speculate on their thoughts. Anyway, everyone knew what they were thinking. He looked at Natasha and said in a deep voice, "Tell us about it. Tell us the information you got. You have personally been in contact with him. You should have more experience than us." "Okay, Director." Natasha also stood up when she heard the sound, and then looked at everyone. "According to the information I got, our supercomputer compared all the databases based on his name and photos, and couldn't get any information about him. He appeared completely out of thin air. We know nothing about him, but he knows us exceptionally well. We don't have any secrets in his eyes." What? They were shocked. The former news is understandable, but the latter is unbelievable. I don't know if they are friends or foes, but others know them well. There is a mole. This transaction must be stopped. Coulson and others actually just knew this. At this time, they were whispering and discussing in low voices, and then he raised questions. Chen Shi, who is suspected of being a mutant, is from the Dragon Kingdom. Everyone knows this. Will he give us the information about the Dragon Kingdom? Our supercomputer can't find the opponent's core characters. They won't open their permissions to us, right? Coulson talked eloquently and his analysis was well-founded. Others looked at Nick Fury in confusion after hearing this. Are you mistaken? Who do you know? At this time, Nick Fury shook his head. There is no doubt that I have already said hello to the Divine Spear Bureau and told them about this matter. The other party was also very surprised. They have never heard of this person, and after checking, they can't find any trace at all. I believe them. No one made any comment after listening. You were right, you are so shameless. Nick Fury rubbed his temples and frowned. He had been quiet for how long? In fact, Natasha and Nick Fury did not tell them all the information. The M78 nebula that Chen Shi mentioned, the alien invasion, such shocking secrets are only known to those involved. Everything can only happen slowly. Nick Fury, who was in low spirits, waved his hand tiredly and said, "You all go out. Natasha, please stay here. I still have a task to give you." Coulson and others left quickly after receiving the order. They did not want to worry about these illusory existences. Even if the sky falls, tall people will bear it. The more you know, the more dangerous it will be. After everyone left, Nick Fury looked at Natasha again. Natasha, you are the only one in our bureau who has met him before, and you are somewhat familiar with him. Anyway, you are so beautiful, so you are very suitable for dealing with him. From now on, you will be responsible for tracking and monitoring his every move, and you will decide how to do it yourself. Nick Fury is cunning and cunning, who can resist beauty? Ah, let me go. If I don't go, he will be on guard against me. I will definitely be discovered by him if I go. Also, he is an alien. How can his aesthetics be the same as ours? I won't go. When Natasha heard this, she shook her head like a rattle. It meant that she couldn't go. Not long after she debuted, he took advantage of her for the first time. If she went now, wouldn't she be completely wiped out by him? The key is that this guy only lights the fire, not puts it out. Nick Fury doesn't know Natasha's little thoughts. He persuaded himself. Natasha, you also know that our manpower is limited now, and everyone else is busy. You also know that I don't trust other people at all, so this task belongs to you. As for his aesthetic issues, you can rest assured. There are many beauties around him. Are you, Natasha, still afraid that your charm is not as good as others? If you take down Chen Shi, you will be the hero of our bureau. Nick Fury is a rainbow fart, and he says that Natasha is the most suitable person both emotionally and rationally. But, Natasha hesitated, still hesitating. Agent Natasha, This is an order. Please don't refuse. You are the most suitable person for us. Seeing that Natasha was still hesitating, Nick Fury's tone became slightly more serious, and it was already an order. Obviously he doesn't want his subordinates to violate what he has decided. Natasha was helpless and could only nod aggrievedly. Okay, I'll take it, then I can only sacrifice myself. No need to sacrifice, I believe you have a solution. You are a top agent who has won the title of Black Widow. After giving her a stick and a sweet date, Nick Fury was satisfied and spoke out to comfort and praise Natasha's abilities. He wants to make the best use of everything according to the characteristics of each person, which can also be said to be the best use of everything. Okay, you go out. Okay. Nick Fury waved his hand and asked her to leave. And after Natasha turned around, the embarrassed look on her face suddenly disappeared completely. She is called a face-changing master. Nick Fury didn't know that at this moment Natasha turned her back to him with a sarcastic smile and left. It seems that she has made a choice, and now Nick Fury's decision is just what she wants, not too smooth. The next morning, Bowen also called, saying that they were ready, bringing a total of 6 modified small freighters and 300 people. And they will always use satellite phones to keep in touch with Chen Shi, and will notify him if anything happens. Okay, I look forward to your good news. I will send the approximate location to your mobile phone, and you will search for it for more than 10 kilometers near that longitude and latitude. Chen Shi told Bao An's team the approximate location he saw in the movie, and there should be no problems. Okay, sir, let's go then. Goodbye, goodbye, hope everything goes well. Chen Shi looked out the window and murmured. After putting away the phone, Chen Shi suddenly remembered something. It would be more suitable for him to buy a big SUV. It was troublesome to go shopping last night. The Lambo is cool, but it can only seat 2 people. How is this possible for a warm-hearted man like him? You can tell by just counting your fingers that there should be around 70 or 80 heroines in this world, right? Let the sunshine of love shine on all living beings. Wanda, Lolly, shall we go shopping for a car? Don't go. Wanda has a lot of personality and is a homebody. Master, I will accompany you. She was very considerate on the 18th and said sweetly immediately. Hey, it's better for me Lolly, let's go. Chen Shi pinched her little face with a smile, deliberately edging Wanda, this arrogant girl. Yes, yes, I will give it to her several times at night. I am too lazy to talk about you two. Wanda also counterattacked unceremoniously. It's just that she feels miserable. She really can't do it. She will completely collapse in an hour at most. Who knows how Lolly is so strong? You will know later, let's go. Chen Shi smiled proudly, took number 18 and left. Rambo roared and flew towards the city center. BMW Fourth Sun store can be considered a luxury brand, and for Chen Shi, the idea of German cars is deeply ingrained. Hi, isn't this Mr. Chen Shi? Do you have a car you like? I am a gold medal salesman. Do you want me to help you with your advice? As soon as I walked in, a charming voice seemed to reach deep into my soul. Looking up, Chen Shi saw a pair of big killers. Ouch, who is this? The widow who lets people drink the bath water. Stop, don't hug me. I'm a timid person. Don't hug me and twist like this. I'm afraid of making a mistake. Chen Shi was seen hurriedly trying to stop Black Widow's unusually intimate hug. It's just that familiar taste, familiar recipe, and skillful method of grinding soy milk. It just didn't seem to work, so Chen Shi naturally enjoyed the VIP treatment with peace of mind and looked at Natasha's pretty face with a smile. I said, what's going on with you? Is this a new mission from your bullshit bureau? You actually came here to do this job? Are you a part-time beauty? Natasha resisted this guy and rubbed Xiaodudu's arm, and then remembered the part-time beauty sentence. What does this fool want? What do you mean? Does he look down on people? At this time, Chen Shi spoke again, I'll contact you to change the name to Shield. How easy is it to remember? Natasha was stunned, what the hell is this guy? The topic changed a bit too quickly. However, this criticized long name is indeed too cheap and too tacky. Mr. Chen is right. We've had enough of the lousy name of the Strategic Homeland Defense Attack and Logistics Support Agency. I think Nick Fury will consider your suggestion. Natasha said in a sweet and serious voice. Don't you know the reason why I come here to work? I am a woman. Just say what you said, why are you hugging me so hard? Chen Shi said it was too much. Such a good thing is just a sugar-coated bullet, and it is definitely not good. It scared Chen Shi. Is this goblin planning to cause trouble? He quickly struggled lightly, but unfortunately Natasha hugged her too tightly and couldn't break free. But it was Natasha's hum that reminded him, why is this girl's face so red? What, are you going to take off? My hair is a meter long. I have long since stopped caring about worldly affairs and abandoned all desires. Wu Liang, that heavenly lord, has seen through the mortal world and is ready to take refuge in the Three Jewels. Please ask the female benefactor to let me go. When the situation was not good, Chen Shi quickly chanted sutras and chanted Buddha's name, always reminding himself to hold back, and forcefully quenching his thirst would not work. Natasha is too old, too old. Just take advantage. Chen Shi muttered a lot in Chinese. Even if Natasha was proficient in Chinese, she still wouldn't be able to understand this mess of tongue-twisting novel terms. He couldn't help but give Chen Shi a fierce look with his charming big eyes. He must be pretending to be a gentleman again. I hope everyone will support it and subscribe more.